Chat, what the fuck is going on today? Monster Hunter, Pokemon. Apparently Star Citizen had a new fucking update today. What the shit is happening? Where am I? What timeline is this? Who are you people? But welcome in, motherfuckers. Monster Hunter 11 hours. Monster Hunter 11 hours. Let's go. Play Star Sector instead? No. No, I won't do that, Moonlit, because Star Citizen is better. Star Citizen is better. Just because you probably think it's a scam, because I can't tell you how many people I've had come in here and be like, oh, but it's a scam. At least my scam can be played as opposed to the other Kickstarter shit you motherfuckers pay for. With Store Citizen. Wait, I like that. No, I just saw a video apparently uploaded from them like 2 hours ago about something called strategic reserves, which I'm guessing is part of a new system they implemented. One scam, please, and a Diet Coke. Me spending $12 for a movie ticket. What fresh hell do we live in? Hi, Ziggy. How are you doing? Ordain? 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 How could you? How could you? Do it again. Do it again, Ordain. Happy to be here. Hell yeah, Ziggy. Welcome in. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Just so we get it across. Remember, go check out Faye's stuff. You should all watch Faye's stuff so that she can get partner and get more money dollars. Because the more money dollars streamers have, the more things that they get to make for people. All right, he said the thing. He said the thing. Shoot him. Good job, Sunstar. Good job. Now that's banned too. Denying that. Okay, that's pretty great, actually. Huh. Oh, 7-Eleven? Wait, that's amazing. I like that. That needs to be an emote somewhere. That needs to be an emote somewhere. Hi, Fake. How are you doing? Star Sector is amazing. I have a video to prove it. By Seth Scenetatch? What is that name? All right, hold on. Star Sector. Five? No, this is a retro game. Oh wait, no, I think this is just his loading thing. This is a top-down game. In what world do you think these games were comparable?
Over every egg.
In what fucking world did you think this game is comparable? I'm here to play a first-person, maybe third-person shooter / FPS that also allows me to own and have large ships that I can explore nearly every nook and cranny of, upgrade independently, and hell, in the future, play it like it's a goddamn flight sim. A 1.3 person? 1.3. A 2-dimension person, if you will. No, this is a top-down game. This is a top-down strategy game. These are not even close to comparable. Oh, dear God. I use AI to conquer humanity in Star Sector. What? Yeah, it's called real-time strategy, baby. That's a thing. You know what StarCraft is, right? It looks more like, oh, what's it called? It looks more like EVE Online than anything. Hi, Fairbonks. Schmello, Sturkish, Schmirkish. How are you doing, Grins? What trouble are you getting into? I mean, real battles? It is a bajillion things in one. It's a real-time strategy game with what I'm gonna guess is a like civilization builder mechanic. Not comparable still. There is nothing in this game that has me go, oh, I definitely want to play this. Did you see the Shrek teaser? No, because I'm not going to watch it. Because I know they're going to butcher it. I refuse. We are going to watch the Pokemon Direct, though, because I'm a massive Pokemon nerd, and y'all are suckers for being here. No. Real-time strategy, more like real meal prime stag. What, Pinky? What? Honey, please. I play EVE Online. Why are you comparing StarCraft to EVE Online? I was just saying the way it's like a top down. I was using StarCraft as the first real time strategy game that came to mind. Pokemans, yeah, Pokemans. I saw some of the posts too already of what has apparently come out, including the starters for the new Legends game, which is actually really funny, but I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it because we'll probably see it during the direct. Oh, this is a really cool map. Huh. It definitely looks modern. Yeah, it definitely looks modern. Although I can't believe what we basically looks like what we're getting in the new Pokemon Legends game is an actual entirely walkable city based after Paris. Which one, baller, two, based, three, make it happen. War is terrible, terribly profitable. Yeah, tell that to the US. You know how many years the US has been at war versus how many it's been at peace? If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the number of years the US was at peace was 7. 7 years total. 4 bagels. 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 Hi, Malik. How are you doing? What trouble are you getting into? I think that makes Japanese tourists sad. Yes. Yes, it is. I believe it's called Paris syndrome. Are you hyping? I'm looking at trouble. Hell yeah, you are. Hell yeah, you are. Anyway. All right. But the Pirates are a faction. Okay. There's AI pirates in Star Citizen too. There's AI militaries in Star Citizen. And you can get your fringe together and you can all operate large ships and cooperate to do fun, cool missions. You can do cargo hauling. You can do science research. You can do mining, both in space and on planet. The buyer's remorse of tourism, correct. Ready for monster fucker wilds? Damn right I am, bitch! Listen, I'm not that much of a monster fucker. My monsters have to be somewhat humanoid, okay? I'm not gonna take a fucking Zenogre as it is. It has to look more like Ashura. Piloting a space pirate fleet with the homies, correct. And you can make guilds. And then you can have those guilds have like special focuses. So then they get special bonus. And then the end game of the guilds, in game or companies, as they're actually called, is you get to make your own space station. What's not to love of that? End game is Mega Corporation Space Station. Touch the motherfucking ground with my insect glaives. That's I tried playing Insect Glaive in the beta in my free time. It didn't feel very good. Try making multiple planets with orbital stations. You're still it's still a pixel top-down game. There's no immersion. Huge tracts of land. Oh, with the boob suit? Yes, thank you. Anyway, huge tracts of land. What were we talking about? I'm not gonna watch the video, Moonlit. I still have it open too, and I do not give a shit. Like, sure, it can be fun. It's not comparative though. It's a whole different kind of fun. This also half looks like, so, I don't know, something weirdly similar to like an itch.io game. Cope on this pants grab. Hi, Hanedu. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this dude play the game. I have captions on, but I have it muted. And none of this looks nearly anything what I'm looking at. You can't convince me to play this over Star Citizen. Star Citizen doesn't even have some of the stuff, not, I wouldn't say most, some of the stuff that, like, the space stations aren't in the game yet. But that's pretty much the only thing that I listed that's not in the game. And I already find it more enjoyable than looking at this. Directing entire fleets to fly around the system. Large battles. This is a real-time strategy game. With pixels. I don't know what you want me to take out of this in any way that makes this better than a fully 3D. It's tracked by a space blaze hauling a shit ton of drugs and jettison them. Hey, you come up clean, buddy, but we found a whole bunch of drugs just outside of your ship. Not yours, right? Nah. Totally not. Totally not. Anyway, no Star Sector in this household. Oh, do I still have the big ones on? Let's just... There we go. That's better. That's better. Sorry, I was going to change the audio settings for in a minute. Looking at the redeems that my eyes went to. Sorry for looking. It's fine. It's fine. My eyes are up here. Here, hold on. My eyes are up here. See, now there's even more of them to look at. To battle, who snitched? Fuck the hegemony. Are you quoting Star Sector now? I've made my choice. I understand. That makes sense. Carry on. Slay says otherwise. Listen, that's only on the Slay emote. That's not on this model, okay? That's not right now. It could be for the swimsuit outfit. It could be in the future. It could be in the future. And if you want to support the swimsuit outfit, that's hopefully going to get done before the end of the summer. Hopefully, probably not, because shit's expensive, yo. There's the weekly passes. Everything helps. Season passes. If you do Ko-fi or if you do a tier 2 or Kalkini, absolutely fucking not. I'm going to be honest for a second, Tommy. I think the Kalkini is stupid as shit. I think it's a waste of money for anybody to buy a Kalkini model. Today's an opinionated day because I think the Kalkini is a stupid ass trend. What's the point? It's a basic ass fucking cow print bikini. Do better. Spend your money on something cooler. Please, you can't do this to me, Malik. Get art, sure. You can get art of it. But for some people that spend enough money to get an entire model that has a Kalkini on it, that's a waste of money. Tiny triangles don't look good? Correct. Now a chicken kini? No! Like, I could understand if somebody made like a swimsuit outfit that's like kind of sort of based off a cow. Something that's more than just a few pieces of cloth and cow print. Like, you could do that if you're like a cow streamer. Or like if Harvey decided to get a swimsuit because she's a sheep, she could have like a cute little one piece with maybe like a fluffy rim around the chest or something. Like, there's tons of different ways to do it than just being, oh, slap an animal hide print on a piece of cloth. I sant a good Kalkini PNG. You sant? I don't give a fuck about the Kalkini. I was talking about Malvin's swimsuit. You can do that to me? Oh, no, we're definitely going to get the swimsuit. Yeah. I'm just going to say, if you want to support the stream, tier 2, tier 3, or if you donate at least $10 on Ko-fi, you get the VIP section in the Discord. And that'll include in the future VIP streams, which will be things that we typically like won't stream on, what was it? That we typically like won't stream so many different ways in this essay. I will. Yes, correct. Correct. If you're getting a bikini anyway, a texture toggle for cow print isn't a huge investment. Could be, but I would honestly prefer that people would, if they were getting a bikini, put more effort and detail into it. That's like a basic toggle, like a print change would be a waste of money. Still, even at a more affordable case. Yeah, like Vanny could even have a cuter swimsuit than just a dumbass fucking Kalkini. Eyes on the swimsuit, so my eyes are up here. Don't work. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Well, yeah, but your bikini outfit has more to it, Hanedu. Yours isn't just basic cloth triangles. I can think of a couple examples, but I know their mods. I know some of their mods are here, so I'm not going to say who I'm thinking of. They should make a bulky. Oh my god. That's called a G-string, please and thank you. Tommy, get your G-string. I was just saying. Wait, what is that? Ponder? What are you pondering? What are you pondering, Hollowed Eyes? Color changing leopard / cheetah print? I hate leopard and cheetah print too. I think they're so tacky. Tommy gets a G-string, Tommy gets a G-string, Tommy gets a G-string. Let's go, prof! Tommy G-strings. Holy shit. Wait. Oh, I was gonna say, where's my alert? Nice. Hi, me. Thank you for the gifted sub. Holy shit, Tommy, I can't believe you have G-strings. So we should put more clothes on Marin? What do you mean? What do you mean? More clothes? I'm pretty well clothed over here. Here, let me just come here. I'm pretty well clothed, baby. I'm pretty well clothed. Like, the only skin that's exposed is at the top. Well, actually, technically my arms are exposed, but there's no skin there. That's besides the point. What? What's the deal? What are we looking at? Look at my jacket? The chains. Make the chains go away. What are we looking at? What's the deal? What's the shebang? Chat? Oh, shit. Chat? What's wrong? Huh? It's Venom? No, it's not Venom. They're shadows. Shadows. The mouth on the back of the jacket? Hell yeah. With the teeths and the carnival inside of it, it's so good. It's so good. Izzy fucking nailed it. And then Faye is gonna kill herself trying to make it. I'm sure it'll be worth it. I'm sure it'll be worth it. Everyone's so mean to me. Just like in the corner. Everybody's so mean to me. All right. Hi. The joke's on you. The pattern is easy. All right, Faye, but you got to do the really cool decorations and stuff. The imprints. Yeah, the embroidery. That's hard. There you go. Boom, suddenly in front. Get a proper hat. I mean, hold on. I could get the other design. I think I showed y'all the other day. One of the designs that another artist made. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I have it saved. It actually has a hat. But I mean, we may someday do the clown design as a model. Someday. Okay, it's this one. This is the one I was thinking of. Look at her. Look at her. Maybe someday we'll get this model. Maybe someday we'll do something with this design because I still love it and I still have it saved. It's so cute. It's so pretty. And it's quite a bit more monstery because I'm pretty sure the hair looks like tentacles. I love the hat. I really love the hat though. Ringleader for a 99 ring circus. Can you do a 99 ring circus? Is that possible? That's so many rings. How big's the tent? You better use the cane as a fucking cane. And yes, you can. Oh, no. Oh, so that's technically not a cane. It's more like a baton. It's the ringleader's baton. Essentially what it does is it's meant to guide direction. Chat, do you know how batons work for ringleaders and basically anybody who's like a master of ceremony or anything? So typically when somebody waves their arm in a direction, the human body will naturally, or the human eye will naturally follow that motion to see where it's going or where it's adjusting. And the baton extends that direction to where it catches. So a lot of times you'll see ringleaders will do like flashy movements and stuff with the baton and then swing it to the side. The goal is to catch the motion, the eyes of everybody in the audience, and then direct it where they need you to go. Hands and conducting baton. Correct. Correct. I got a baton you can hold. Saves the pic for reasons. Okay, Fairbanks, go ahead. I can send it to you if you want the original one. Do you want the original one? It'd be better than trying to like snap it off the screen. Goodbye, you're done. Do as he does. Fair banking right now? Fair banking, yes. Give me, okay, I gotcha. Hold on a second. Fair bonks. Yes, the breasting boobily art that you sent me, was it yesterday? I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Okay, I need to find this again. Where are you? There you are. All right. Why do I suddenly have so many DMs? Brother, may I have some oats? Where is it? Hold on. I know I have it here.
No.
There we go. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh no, there's a creature screaming. Oh, good Lord. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that later, probably. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to read that later. But chat, we have some fun stuff coming in the future. We have more partnerships. We have more partnerships. What do you think about Fairbanks? They will breast boobily breasted. That makes sense. I feel like I'm living in a circus. Sometimes I'm in control. No, you're always in the circus. Broth, what are you doing with that camera? Broth, do I need to send it to you too? Do you want it? Do you want that art? Because I will send it to you, Broth. Do you need it too? Hands? Why hands? Is it drawing hands? Do you not want to draw hands? Me 3, please? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. At least now I know it's like way at the bottom of my fan art folder, so that's pretty easy to find. Oh my God, this is the thing. This is the thing when you have artists in chat. Show off design, show off incomplete design, and then they're like, oh, I love drawing hands. What are you gonna do with those hands? Broth about to go round? Go pound? Oh my God. Listen, it's fine. Also, I just realized I never did that self-care that Custom gave me. Hold on a second. Oh no, Faye. Oh no. Wait, you're gonna do... Oh, I don't think my arms would fit in there. This design is like really spindly in terms of like the arms department. And when I went to the doctor Tuesday, and I have apparently put on 5 pounds over the past like over 6 months, which is pretty good, especially if it's all muscle. I wouldn't doubt if it's all muscle. 2 jackets? Gee, man, why does your wife let you have 2 jackets? Hi, Coco. How are you doing, baby? Yes, Stinkums. Why are you trying to lick me? I'm trying to pet. Oh, hi. Hi. Hi, Stinky. Are you singing? Oh my God, you're singing fucking 1,000 Dreams. Hi, Stinkums. What is it? I'll take you out during the commercial break. I promise. I promise. My wife doesn't even let me have 2 shirts. What's your 1 shirt? This is important. What's your 1 shirt, Black Dragon? That's not that. Those last lyrics sounded like they read like the lyrics from 1,000 Dreams from The Greatest Showman. My jacket doesn't let me have a wife. What jacket are you wearing? Is it the what is? Are you wearing the like? What is it? The Hagao or whatever it is jacket, the one that's just covered in like horny anime girl faces. 1,000,000 Dreams, correct. I'm sad I didn't know that because I went to see that movie I actually pirated that movie the first time I watched it. And it was from the point of view of a guy sitting in the top of the stands at a Brazilian movie theater. Because if he moved a little bit, you could see the Portuguese, the Portuguese subtitles on the movie. It was because he like zoomed in on it. And there's one point in the movie where he like takes the camera and like shoves it into his jacket, and words on screen comes like security guard came to check on me, so I had to put it away. And then he like pulls it out again. No idea who that is. But and then I went and saw it in theaters with my cousin and her friend at the time, who is now her husband. Because then they played 1,000,000 Dreams as their wedding march. They had a string quartet. I'm trying to remember what the group looked like. I think it was a string quartet that played 1,000,000 Dreams as my cousin walked down the aisle, and I cried. I was gonna say I swear I didn't cry, but I'm gonna be honest, I cried. I cried so hard, chat. I cried so hard. It took me a solid like minute and a half to realize what the song was. And then they got to the chorus and I was like, oh, no, no. I was a mess. I was a mess. And then I had a good time. The same guy, Pirate Spider-Man, No Way Home. I would not doubt it. I bet the people that like record in movie theaters and stuff are like do so chronically. Almost certainly. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. But it was also like the realization that like to the two of them, apparently that movie was something special and I got to be there for it. Of course, I'm annoying at movie theaters and I know I was annoying there because I was so excited and I like already seen it pirated. I was like the one of those annoying teenage girls that like for some reason they go see, oh, what was the most recent one? That Wizard of Oz movie. No, Wicked. That's what it was called. When like Wicked came out and those annoying bitches like would go to the movies just so they could stand in front of the screen and sing. I didn't do that, but I felt like I was doing that. Mainly because I was sitting there singing the songs to myself. That was the thing. It's always the thing. That is always the thing when a musical comes out. If there is a big musical like Wicked, which was like a Broadway show beforehand, so all of the songs were kind of already known to some degree. Yeah, people do that. And I'm trying to remember. There was actually a video of it was like a school group that had rented out the theater for their school. And it was a bunch of teachers standing at the front before they started the movie. And they had to tell every girl in that fucking theater that they were like, I'm trying to remember how they worded it. It was something along the lines of, we are not here to listen to you sing. We are here to listen to Ariana and like whoever the other actress is. We're here to listen to them sing. Sit down, stay quiet, and enjoy the movie. Do you understand? Based on a movie, based on a book? Yep. Yep. I mean, we could also talk about like 50 Shades of Grey being, what was it? 50 Shades of Grey, the fanfic of a movie based off a book. I get it if you get all the seats for you and your friends, but that's grounds for an ass beating otherwise. Yeah, but this is a school. This was a school. This was a bunch of school students, like almost elementary school. If I remember correctly, they were quite young. They could have been like middle school-ish age. They're probably closer to middle school. I don't think you would bring elementary school students on a field trip to a theater. My school never did that. We didn't get to go to the movies. We went to the zoo and CC's Pizza. 50 Shades was a bad fanfic of Twilight. Correct. The pipeline of 9/11 to 50 Shades of Grey mentioned. Oh my God. No, we're not going to talk about the pipeline. The direct pipeline of 9/11 to 50 Shades of Grey. Hey chat, do you want to know where I think it went wrong? Do you want to think where I know where like life could probably be better at one point in history right now? Where America wouldn't be so fucking heinous? The 24-hour news cycle. I don't think we should have ever started the 24-hour news cycle. It all started the day I was born, where my parents didn't show up. Reagan's presidency? Nope. Well, you may be onto something there, but I'm thinking with the 24-hour news cycle. It could have been recoverable. It could have been recoverable without the 24-hour news cycle. The 24-hour news cycle made it absolutely necessary to constantly have a story or a talking point. I was raised by ocelots. I thought you were raised by octopus. How did ocelots raise an octopus? If it was Dr. Doofenshmirtz, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Wouldn't that make it 3 nickels now? Maybe. Maybe. Reagan's presidency could be directly linked to the decline of the US. True. Actually, Reagan's can definitely be linked to the continued decline of the US. You could probably honestly route it back to Eisenhower. Did Eisenhower do it directly? That's for me to read and figure out exactly, or to go ask Annie about, because Annie may know more than I do on that. But the 50s and the Red Scare was definitely a sliding slope for the US as a whole. A whole 15 cents? Let's go. Not the thrickles. Thrickles? 3 nickels? I think it's all went downhill when Spider-Man 3 didn't come down. That's too soon. No, we need to go further back. Oh my God, can you imagine? All right, chat, today we're going to have a history lesson. The day it all went wrong for America, pulls out book. It's the autobiography of George Washington. This is how socialism shouldn't be a dirty word. Yeah. No, it's not a dirty word. It's a dirty word for fucking right-wing asshats, but it's not a dirty word to me. Is that Jose Ivan or is that Joseven? Joseven? Jose Ivan. The most Mexican followed by the most Russian name. Huh. We went to the movies as kids on school trips. Me and my friends snuck into Freddy versus Jason when we were supposed to be seeing Santa Claus 2. It was great. I tried to do a movie marathon day. I've mentioned this before. I tried to do a movie marathon day years back. This was... What year did... What was it? What year did Superman versus Batman come out? Because that was one of the movies I was going to see. But that was not the first movie I went to see. The first movie I went to see was Zootopia. No. Modern. The modern one. The current DC universe. The dark, gritty one. But yes, I went to see Zootopia. And I was like, fuck it. Everybody says this movie's absolutely fantastic. I'll go see it. Because I had like extra money and tickets were like $6 at the time. But I went and saw it there. I went and saw Zootopia. And I got up and I still had my ticket for the other movie. And I went to go sit in there because I usually do. Anytime I go to the movie theater, I get the largest bucket of popcorn. I'm not going to lie, chat. I like my popcorn. Zootropolis? Wasn't it Zootopia? I thought it was Zootopia. Oh, well. Hold on a second. We'll get to McCarthyism in a second. That's from the Red Scare. But I went to see that movie, and then I went and I had to wait 45 minutes. That was like the time window until Batman versus Superman was supposed to start. And I sat down. I sat there for like 10 minutes snacking on what remained of my first thing of popcorn before I went and got a refill. And I didn't get a refill. I instead got up and was like, you know what? Zootopia was pretty all right. I don't think I'm going to ruin my mood with this movie. So I got up and left. And I walked out. I walked out the exit doors, and there was a couple, a guy and a girl, walking up to buy tickets. And like these guys look like they were maybe a couple years older than me, probably at this time. And I'm like, are you guys going to see the Batman versus Superman? And he goes, yeah. I go, well, I have a ticket. I haven't used it. I don't want to see the movie anymore. And it wasn't torn. They hadn't like torn it yet because they only tore my Zootopia one. And the guy was so scared of me for some reason. Like he was terrified to take the ticket. And his girlfriend had to like nudge and be like, go ahead, take it. It was like, it's a free movie ticket, my guy. I promise you, if you look at it, it's the same time same date that you were about to go buy a ticket for. I know what a topia is. Well, topia is just in reference to a typically urban landscape. There's dystopia, there's utopia. Mow and scary. I'm not that scary. Fairbanks, you've seen me. Am I scary? I don't think I'm scary. I think I look harmless. I've been told I blend into a crowd. Terrified of the titty. Listen, I didn't have titty at this time. This was before that. Probably scared you were gonna steal his kidneys. Yes, I was gonna steal his kidneys. As soon as he reached for the ticket, I was gonna grab him, take his arm off, and then steal his kidneys right there in front of the movie theater. Okay, wait, hold on. What was the McCarthy thing? Let me scroll back up real quick. BT before titty. Listen. Up. Wait, I think I scrolled past it. Where is it? I would say Senator McCarthy was probably the biggest driver of the Red Scare, but yeah, under Eisenhower was a problem. IMO, I think the U.S. was faulty off the rip when they never addressed slavery. Correct. The US was a shithole from the start. And people came over here for the wrong reasons. Like, if you take US history, does anybody actually know why the Puritans came over here? Does anybody know why the Puritans actually came over to the New World? If you're in the US, you're taught that, like, Plymouth and stuff, nobody wanted them. Do you know why nobody wanted them? You do, Faye? Would you like to share with the class? It's not oil. Oil was not a driving force because they are drag. They are, in fact, a drag. Brand of religious persecution because they were way too intense for the Dutch. Correct. They were too religious. Taxes. I promise you it was not taxes. I promise you it was not taxes. No. The original Puritans left England and went to Holland and then left. Oh, okay. Coco has their toy behind me. I was like, what does that sound? It sounds like a plastic bag. Yeah, because they were too religious. They wanted a theocracy. They wanted to come to the New World to establish a theocracy. Holland mentioned. Hi, Ordine. Taxes were part of America season 2? Correct. That didn't come around until season 2. And even then, we're already taxed more by our own government than we were even close to being taxed by the British at the time. We'll go be shitty over there. Yeah, they were not allowed to persecute in England because of the Church of England at the time. And then they were upset that Holland wouldn't let them get away with the persecution that they wanted to spread. So then they just went and tried to start their own theocracy. So sometimes when I hear about the Croatoan settlers or what was that colony? I can't remember, but I remember them, like, apparently people left to get supplies and then came back and they were all gone. And the only thing that was there was Croatoans etched on the tree. And if the Croatoans killed him, it was the Roanoke colonists. Is that what it was? Croatoan? Good. I hope they ate him too. America's inherently Christo-fascist institution. Did the 6-hour essay. I will. Yes. Carry on. We ate our prime minister once. All right, hold on. That's gonna need a Google. Prime Minister. Oh, Eaton comes right up. No, that's a statesman. Johan de Witt? Dutch statesman who was a major political figure during the first, oh good lord, stadtholderless period, when flourishing global trade and a period of rapid European colonial expansion made the Dutch a leading trading and seafaring power in Europe, commonly referred to as the Dutch Golden Age. De Witt was elected Grand Pensionary of Holland, and together with his uncle Cornelius de Graaf, he controlled the Dutch political system from around 1650 until the Rampjar, or disaster year, of 1672. De Witt Booker? No, Johan de Witt. Orange flavor? Oh, God. Okay, hold on. In the hysteria that followed, he and his brother Cornelius de Witt were blamed and lynched in The Hague, with their corpses least partially eaten by the rioters. These cannibals were never prosecuted, and some historians claim William of Orange may have incited them. Amazing. We should do that again. I think that needs to be done again.
Making a mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
Oh my God. All right. What is it, Coco? I think Coco wants to play. I think that's what she wants because she has her crocodile toy in here. Oh my God, I can't reach you when you do that, Coco. Come here. Leaning over. I can only scratch your back leg, Coco, at this rate. Oh my God. Dog cam? I don't have a dog cam. Because I'd also probably forget that I had the dog cam on too. Coco also doesn't stay in one place long enough. Yes, I said your name. Lazarus anime premieres on Adult Swim. What? Add a tracker to her collar. Oh my god. Nah, she's chipped. Gotta get extendo arms for Coco. Listen, I wish I had the actual character's extendo arms. Listen, that'd be perfect. Because then I could pet her down the hall when she gives me the sad eyes. Mr. Fantastic reference? No! It's a Maker reference. Get it right. Hi, Stinky. Yes, yes, yes. Pet, pet, pet. Pet, pet, pet. All right, chat. I think my tracking got fucked. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, my tracking's definitely fucked. Okay. Chat. Well, excuse me, princess. Go-Go Gadget extendo arms. Also Go-Go Gadget reference. Yes. All right, chat. Do we want to see the new Pokemon Presents? Actually, how much time do we have? 15 minutes. Do we, because it's 20, hi on Capo, it's 20-minute video. Do we yap for the next 15 minutes and then play it afterwards? Or would y'all be all right with taking a pause in the middle of this? Which would y'all want? Uh-oh, Grins is dancing. Grins is dancing again. Mods, get the gun. Okay. Father, I crave words. Pokemans. Oh my god, Pokemans. Oh, what was it? Oh, when we played, what was it? Monster Prom. Speaking of which, guys, if y'all didn't know, the 4th game of Monster Prom is out, and it's called Monster Con. Sorry, it's not out. The demo is out. I played the demo the other night. It's pretty neat. I'm probably gonna get that game. It's also really fucking funny. I kept sending Sai and Faye a bunch of memes that I kept finding in the game that are hilarious. Bun gun. What's the gun for? Faye, what's the gun for? 345 out 4. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? And they were amazing. They are. They're hilarious. They even have a clown girl. It's very funny. There was a third. Yeah, Monster Prom 3 was Road Trip. Monster Prom 3 is Road Trip. I cast Eat the Rick that are above 10 mil. The Rick? Clown girl? Nerd? No, she's like an idol is like her thing. But she's also manic as fuck, and I love her. Her name's April. If you go look at the Steam page, you can see her. You're a clown? I am not, in fact, a clown. I do have a clown design. Hold your horses. Yeah. We'll probably get a model of that someday. Maybe we'll get the low poly version of that. I could probably talk to, I mean, we have the clown emote. The clown emote is literally based off of this. But this emote says otherwise? Yeah, but it's a sinister clown. I can be a cool yet sinister clown, please and thank you. Clown. 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 Grins. This design, hold on, I can actually check. Let me check something real quick. Oh no, I need right click properties. This design was made on October 27th, 2022. This is before the fucking circus came out. Did you say mod in chat? Wait, what? I'd definitely buy it if it was a figurine. Tags are a lie. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is just a picture. It was a picture. We're using the same assets for too long. This has not been used for anything. This was done as a joke by a friend to make a design of me as a clown. And like, it hasn't been used for anything literally until now. Do we want to talk about an old design that never saw the light of day that occasionally comes around? Let me see if I can find it. Here. This one Does anybody remember off the top of their head what this design was supposed to be used for? If you've been here long enough, you've probably heard me talk about it. I am Pagliacci. So there was a bit, for a while, there was a thing I was going to do when I first started. So the stripes in this character's hair, with like the black and red stripes, they were actually supposed to be indicators. There was going to be the blonde, like androgynous one that was basically like the middle ground of them. And there was going to be a really masculine redheaded one. And then this one was going to be the black haired feminine version. You're not my wife. I don't know you. But it took something like 8 months for this art to get finished. And by that point, I had scrapped the idea because people were really receptive to the blonde. I need to like reset the motion because it feels like it's not working properly. Get the imposter. Okay, I'll put it away. Jesus. Listen, it could be worse. We could get out. Let me see here. Where's the scrawny one? I need the skinny one. That was like one of the first pieces of art I ever got. This one's done by Alfina. I DM'd you something stupid. Uh-oh. Wait. What the fuck did you send me? Is this YMCA? Is that the YMCA, but it's Pagliacci? Oh my God. Okay, sorry, Sunstar. Sorry, I had to answer your DMs. Sunstar. That's a gloriously unhinged. I love it. I still love it to this day. She did a really good job. There's also a darker version. Let me see. She gave me 4 versions. There's like ones with a white background. There's this PNG. It's not the right page. And then there's like, here's the darker one. Yeah. Alfina's a really good artist. She was a little expensive though. It was quite expensive for one of the first pieces I ever got. Which is also why you can see that like the stripes in the hair are not a solid color each. They're both colors. They start red and then fade to black. And that's what the original design like started as. And then at one point, it got redone and somebody drew them as, or like, I think they misunderstood how they were described and instead started having solid red and solid black all over the place. Which actually I liked a lot more. I like that a lot more. I don't think I still have the reference pic. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Hold on. Inspiration? Oh, I do have the picture. Okay. This was a reference that I used for the initial design because the way I saw it, and I loved it that way, and to this day, I don't think we ever got nearly as many stripes as I wanted, was that like on this character's hair, all of the dark parts were supposed to be black with the medium shade being red and then the others being blonde. But I don't think I ever got any art where somebody actually conveyed that properly. Imagine having to iterate on your design. Imagine not being perfect the first time. I actually held back on my first design because I didn't want to like over design it. And I was scared that people weren't going to like it. So I went very, very basic. Let's see what other nonsense I have saved in, no, not that, in the inspiration folder. No, some of these are newer than this one. Yeah, this one was part of the original batch, but I'm gonna get a new 3D printer. Ooh, what kind? Resin? The spool, which I forget what that type is called. What kind? What kind? Oh God, there's just a single thing in here. Amazing. Okay. I can delete that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Get that out of here. Off to work to earn money for wife? Wait, what? When have you earned money for me? With 3D print files for retro Marin model? I don't think that would convey very well because a lot of the textures, if you look, are just like flat on my face. So a 3D thing would be very, very, very bare bones. You'd have to do a lot of painting for it. Literally Tuesday? Oh, right. Thank you for the $5. I used it to buy a sandwich yesterday. It paid for half of the sandwich. Heard it here first? What are you talking about? I've always been flat. I have no idea what you're on about. Yeah, yesterday I got was it yesterday? No, it wasn't yesterday. It was Wednesday. No, yesterday was Wednesday. I'm fucking stupid. Yeah, yesterday after the gym, I was like, I want a sandwich. I really want a sandwich. I like this. Why does my torso look so tiny? Jesus. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Even that's better. But Jesus, the flat without the jacket makes my torso look fucking puny. But yeah, I went to there's like a mac and cheese bar here, but they have grilled cheeses on their menu. Put those boob backs. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Thank you for the $5. Hey, Neto. Okay, bye. You fucking dork. Thank you so much. Have a good day at work. Pinchable ribs? I don't have ribs. Why do you think I always wear corsets? I don't have ribs. I don't need ribs where we're going. $5, big booba? No. No. Because I think technically that's against the rules. I think that's against the rules. The ribs didn't grow back. Oh my God. You missed, Broth. You missed. You weren't fast enough. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, this place has grilled cheese on their menu, which you can technically get like the mac and cheese put on bread. But what you can do is you like pick your cheese that you want grilled on it. And then you can pick a meat. And there's like pulled pork, there's bacon, there's chicken, and there's brisket. And this time I got pulled pork, but usually I just get bacon. But I got pulled pork, broccoli, Parmesan with garlic sauce, with Parmesan garlic sauce, and it's so good. It's a pretty big toasted sandwich. It's decent sized. It's on like a sort of sandwich bread, but the sandwich bread slices are like much bigger. Who are you, Kono? What do you mean? What do you want about? What do you want about, Willis? Explain. That's what clipping is for? True. But I don't think Broth clips. I don't think Broth clips things. Broth is over here with his pen in hand. Guess I'll have to draw it myself. Oh no. The booba thing earlier? Oh no, I just thought it was funny. Plus this used to be this is a VR chat model initially. So in VR chat, this is a slider. These are sliders, but on here, there's only there's presettings. There's only presettings. I can have larger outlines though. Wah, 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 wah. All right, we got just under 2 minutes until the ad break. I already have words on stream ready to go. I clip if the command exists as a bit. The command does exist here. Exclamation mark clip works here. It grabs the last 30 seconds. No, I get them out of my own. I get the expansion stuff out of my own volition because I like them. I don't do it typically because Kono asks. Grilled cheese and anchovy panini I saw yesterday. Is it anchovy paste? It's an anchovy paste? Because I don't think I would try whole anchovies on a sandwich. Putting me out of the clipping business? What do you mean? Listen, I prefer hand-selected clips. Because y'all are really bad at using the clip command. Y'all wait so long to use the clip commands that when I eventually go check or review the clips, it'll be like maybe half or a quarter of whatever the bit was at the time. Whatever the funny thing or whatever thing y'all were trying to clip at the time, it's like 90% of the time it's too late and I have to go readjust like the clip size. We're playing Monster Hunter Wild. The crack has already sucked some in. I don't think it's available though. I think most people are. Yeah, it's still like 10 hours away. Isn't it? I thought it was. I wait so long to clip myself. Oh my god. Darth Maul, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. There's a lot of y'all dribbling in with a bunch of numbers in your name, and I don't think y'all have said anything. Are y'all there? The whole last game on Twitch from Germany? Clip this, pants, never mind. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, chat, it's corner time. It's corner time. I'm going to get you your words on stream. I'm going to go play with Coco outside for a little bit, for a couple minutes, and then we'll be back in just a little bit. Don't burn anything down. I'm also going to drag myself off screen for this just because I don't trust you. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Oh no. My XLR isn't working. Why isn't my audio interface working? I can't mute myself right now. The app isn't open for some reason. What did you do? What did you do? Roth, did you try to make cuck a word in here? Did you really try to make cuck one of the words? I see your ass up there. Was it a word? Did it work? Did it work though? Wait, pre-release to show off? Wait, what are y'all on about? What do you want about? Wait. I mean, I pre-ordered, but I don't have early access. Oh, is there early access? I don't have early access either, apparently. I pre-ordered too, but I guess I hate these early access fucking windows so much. What's the point? I guess it's an incentive, I guess. But you're just like, all right, guys, we're going to delay our opening just so that we can make people who want to spend more money. Or these like VIPs. All right, let's put this away. We're going to swing over Nya. But yeah, I'm coping. The music. What does it mean? Okay. Hold on, you scroll back down. All right. Sorry, chat. Sorry, I had the music still going, but it was Black Velvet, so it was worth it. Are we vibrating to Monster Hunter Wilds here? I'm coping because I don't have early access. Hey, yo. Hi, Azura. We were talking about you earlier. In reference to monster fuckers. Tommy brought it up. Yo, me too. Hi, Travis. Yeah, I don't have access. My play button is still blocked off. This is coming February 27, 2025. Hear me. I turned it down. You are coping and seething. Imagine being a monster fucker. Couldn't be me. No, the topic was what was it? I think it was Tommy said, "Are you excited for Monster Fuckers Wilds?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." Except I'm not like a monster fucker like some of you other weirdos out there. Like I'm not gonna sit here and look at a Zenogre and be like, "Yeah, I do that." No. It's got to look like Azura. Spartarg, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Enjoy the show. Also, why is Steam resetting? What is happening? I'm getting like all these notifications of friends like opening games. Hold on. Steam, what's happening? Koltroth Wood? No! Okay, maybe a spider. Yeah, okay, I still can't play it. I was just double checking. Just had to make sure. Totally not coping and seething. It's fine. Jacket time. All right, chat. Who likes Pokemon? I don't care what you say. I don't care. People can tell me I'm childish all they want. I like Pokemon. Now, I know we're probably not going to get it in this because I've already seen some of the like posts and pictures that people have spoiled for this, but god damn it, I want a slice of life Pokemon game where I can like experience a world like almost like an RPG. Maybe you could make it an MMO or something, but it's like a cozy, comfy Pokemon game where you can just like pick a partner and just kind of like live out your life with that one Pokemon and stuff. It'd be cool. It'd be fun. Get a gerb. I used to like it, haven't in a while because games have been met on my end. So Pokemon Concierge, but a game? Yes. Aren't they getting more episodes? I think I saw that. We'll probably figure out in this. Let's see. Turn it up a little bit. Let me know if it's too quiet. Oh my god, are we getting a new Pikachu? What's it called? Who remembers the Pikachu like plug and play console? I think you could go fishing with Pikachu in that game. Pokemon IRL would be a disaster. I mean, a lot of the Pokemon are technically world-ending. Like, Magkar Go would essentially burn the fucking universe to the ground.
Pokemon Company. Today, February 27, is Pokemon Day.
Okay. Tell me your secrets, old man.
This is the date
Tell me your secrets!
Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green
Look at all the
games
games in the
were
back.
first
Oh my
released in
god.
Japan,
Oh, there's the classic
marking
red and
the
blue.
beginning of the Pokemon series.
Of course there are. What
It's
am I
been
saying?
29 years
These are
since
people
the
that make
birth
this game.
of
Of course they have a
Pokemon.
copy of every fucking game still in the sealed box.
And we've reached this milestone through the support of all you trainers
Gods of
around the
Pokemon!
world.
Gods of
Thanks to all of you,
Pokemon!
it's now possible to enjoy Pokemon each day in a variety of ways.
Correct? I heard that there was going to
We
be
hope
another
to keep
game coming
bringing you
out
new
both on, I think,
experiences to brighten
computer
your day-to-day
and
lives
mobile.
with
I don't remember
Pokemon.
for sure.
In today's broadcast,
I can hear the
we'll be
music in the
sharing
background.
all the latest news about Pokemon, including our newest titles. Please enjoy the presentation.
Oh, hey, he has one of those Pokeball souvenirs that I have, except mine's a night ball.
It's the Netflix series Pokemon Concierge.
Has somebody
Taking
watched
place
this
at the
series? I
Pokemon
haven't watched
Resort
it
on a
yet. It looks
tropical
super
island.
cute.
The story follows Haru, who is still finding her feet as a new concierge, and Psyduck as they grow together through their interactions with the resort's Pokemon guests. Its
the
charm
stop-motion
lies in the
animation
warm
in
visuals
Felt
that
is
can be
so
achieved
cute.
only through stop-motion animation. And
It's
new
so
episodes of
cute.
Pokemon Concierge are in production. They are slated for release in September 2025. What sort of
Ooh.
Pokemon will Haru and Psyduck welcome as guests next? Take a first look at a few of the Pokemon they will meet in this motion test
Aww.
footage.
Oh, what the
Just
heck?
look at the
My tracking.
personality and how they
I covered
move.
my mouth, and I think the tracking decided
But
to
there's
fucking
more.
die.
For a limited time, the first 4 episodes are available
Okay.
to watch on Pokemon's official YouTube channel for free. Please take this chance to watch them if you haven't been able to tune in to Pokemon Concierge
Wait,
yet.
it's
And we
free?
hope you look forward to the new episodes as well.
Hi, Pikachu. Jesus.
Hello, everyone.
That's a good
I'm
stinger,
Utsunomiya
actually.
From
I
the
like that
Pokemon
stinger.
Company. Next, we have a number of other announcements to share with you.
All the plushes. That's some Rankin Bash shit. It is! I love Rankin Bash
In
stop
Pokemon
motion.
Go, Pokemon Go Tour Unova Global will take
who
place
cares?
on March 1st and March 2nd. This event can be enjoyed at no cost from anywhere in the world where Pokemon Go is available. During the event, the legendary Pokemon
Where's
Black
Pokemon Go
Kyurem
not
and
available?
White Kyurem will appear
Chat, where's
in
Pokemon
ring
Go not
battles and
available?
elsewhere. Also, trainers will soon have a chance
Wait, you
to
don't have bone
encounter
signal?
Victini and Shiny Meloetta. We'll also share promo codes for everyone to enjoy. We
Oh.
hope you're looking forward to the new
Wait.
season 2.
Wait,
To
go back.
enjoy. We hope
Go to Unova. Enter this code in the Pokemon Go web store now to encounter one Pokemon of your choice from the selection. Why do they have different backgrounds? Why is one white? Why is one black? Are they implementing a new state, or what's the deal? Do they have different stats?
you're looking forward to the new season
Are my boy
2.
Arcanine? Let's go. Wait, I missed what? Okay, third generation, my babies, my babies, my babies.
Let's ride this wave!
Oh, this is the. Okay, this is the. I forget what this is. Masters, Pokemon Masters. Yeah, Masters EX. Cool. Ooh. Chad, that looks fucking delicious. A jelly soda with a little apple pie on top? Ah! I love it. Sorry. Sorry. I'm getting cute overload. Remove the ocean. We kind of need the ocean. I really like all of the apple Pokemon. They're so cute. It's an apple and jelly soda. Yeah. I actually did play this game a little bit. I played this game a little bit at one point. It was kind of cute. It was kind of fun. I get bored with mobile games very quickly. Hello? Oh, this is Pokemon Sleep. I just saw it on the bottom. Not all smartwatches are compatible. Damn. Dark Void. Dark Void, everybody's asleep. Oh? Oh. Okay. I do like the art style of Pokemon Sleep. I tried playing it. What is this? What is this? Wait, I like Pokemon Unite. I like Pokemon Unite. What is this? Who's new? Please don't just be an outfit reveal. Please don't just be an outfit reveal. Are Carnival issued smartwatches? It's already pre-installed. And by installed, I mean implanted. And by implanted, I mean infected. And by infected, I mean parasite. What?
Remote Stadium
Wait, I
will
thought
be
they were already
returning
in
to
the
ranked
game.
matches. Enjoy intense battles in the unforgettable Remote Stadium. A
Wait, I
new
don't think
type
any
of
of those
battle
were
is
new.
also arriving, called First to 500. In
I'm
it,
pretty
a new
sure none of
feature
those
called
are new.
EOS technology allows you to gain special effects when you score a certain number of points.
Ooh.
Plus, look forward to an updated map with updated wild Pokemon. The win condition is simple: be the first to score 500 points.
Is it a free-for-all? Wait. Wait. What did that saying?
Or 500 points.
What's that saying? Sweet. Oh, platinum. Oh, shit. Okay. Poke Day 25. Chat, don't let me forget that. Sunstar, message me Poke Day 25 and remind me it's Pokemon Unite. I want that. I want that. I usually end up playing Pokemon Unite when like my computer is down or something. Hi, Pickles. Alolan Raichu. I'm pretty sure Alolan Raichu was already in the game. Why do they sound like Faye? 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 And then there's this game. I don't really care for this game. I still technically have it downloaded, but I couldn't tell you the last time I logged into it to open a pack. Wait, you did? What did you send me? What have you sent? Oh, nice. Perfect. Perfect. This is just going to be announcing a new set, isn't it? Oh, no. Tyranitar. Ooh. God, I hope Abomasnow's good. I always dream of Abomasnow being good at some point, because I like Abomasnow. General when you can. General. Thank you, Sunstar. Up. Oh. Also, I just realized somebody tried to make... Oh my god. Grims, that's a meme! That's supposed to be in the meme section. That's not supposed to be in general. Hello? What is this gonna be? Okay. Fuck off! Oh no. Wait. Oh, this is for the actual TCG. This is for the actual TCG. Okay. So we're gonna get Mega Pokemon EX in the TCG.
Next,
I still love that
allow
stinger.
me to share some news about the Pokemon video game series.
Yes. Yes. This is important.
In the
This is
Pokemon
more
Scarlet
important.
and Pokemon Violet games, we're celebrating Pokemon Day with a Rotom phone case giveaway.
Somebody send that one to me too.
Along with a mass outbreak event and other
Here, we'll go back. God damn it.
case giveaway.
Somebody save this. Put it in the Discord. Me when they add my EX into the game, my X into the game. Yes, thank you, Pickles. Hold on, password will never contain the letters I, O, and Z. I wonder why that is. Wait, are those zeros? Are those not O's? Is that SB00KC0VER? Okay. I suppose. And this is
Along with
for...
a mass outbreak event and other in-game
Oh.
events to come.
for
A mighty
Specific colored
Meowscarada,
ones?
Skeledirge, and Quaquaval will appear in a series of Terra Raid battle events.
Okay. Okay, but what does mighty
And
mean?
even more Pokemon are planned to appear in the future.
Oh god, not more dragons. Not more dragons,
We hope
please, I beg
continue to
you.
enjoy the Pokemon Scarlet and
You
Pokemon
don't know what
Violet
you're starting.
games.
You don't know what you're... Hello? Hold on, I'm getting a phone call.
Next, please have a look at this video.
Oh, yo, classic Game Boys? Classic Game Boys, please? Please? Okay, link cable. What the fuck are you sweating? No. Pokemon Stadium. Oh, this is the game that I heard about. This is the PvP one. Oh my god, it's fucking Coliseum. Not Coliseum. That was, Battle something? I can't remember. Shit. dad playing Pokemon. Wait, that's so cute.
This is my time, my victory's here. Nothing is in my way.
Okay. Yo. Listen. Okay, but how does it work? What is their stats? What's the deal? Oh, it's gonna be on Switch too? Okay. But not actual gameplay footage. Effects added. Please and thank you for telling us. The best console, Jenga? I agree. Not representative of actual gameplay experience. Amazing. Ooh. Oh. Oh, we're getting cross mechanics. This game's gonna have cross mechanics. Oh, Pokemon Champions. Okay. Oh, in development. Damn it. Damn it. That probably also means we're gonna get Gigantamax and stuff. We'll probably get all of those mechanics.
What you've just seen is the world's first glimpse of a new title, Pokemon Champions.
Okay. Of course,
This
there's
title
Gardevoir
will
in the
be
fucking
focused
promo
on
art.
the Pokemon battles you know and love from core Pokemon
The foremost
games.
iconic Pokemon.
Pokemon
Christ.
Champions will continue the tradition of pitting your skills against those
Okay.
of other trainers from around the world. But this time, we're aiming for these core-style battles to be enjoyed by more players than ever before.
We can do cross-platform with the
Freak, the
Game
developer
Boy.
of the core games, is
know, it'd be
carrying
kinda cool.
out the planning for this project, while development is being handled by the Pokemon Works. And
Okay.
Pokemon Champions will be coming not only to the Nintendo Switch family of systems, but to mobile devices too.
I
You'll
think
be
this game's
able to
probably going to be
choose how
free.
you want to play
right?
based on where you are.
I'll become a mega Pokemon
What's
master.
more, you can also connect with Pokemon Home.
That's what I figured. I was going to
Thanks
say
to this
probably going to be able to
connectivity,
transfer from
you
other
won't be
games
limited to
because I don't
using
think there's going to be a
Pokemon
way
you
to
can partner
get
up with in
Pokemon and Pokemon Champions.
You'll be able to team up with Pokemon who joined you on your adventures in previous Pokemon games. We hope you're looking forward to battling Pokemon trainers from all corners of the world.
Why would you? Why would
Stay
you forego
tuned
the
for
current
future announcements
PvP
regarding
and the current
Pokemon
generation of
Champions.
Pokemon to play Pokemon Champions?
Next, we'd like to share some information about the languages Pokemon series games will be available in. Mr. Tomás Cortijo, please take it away.
Music is not still on.
Saludos a todos desde la nueva oficina de Pokémon en la hermosa
Mexico
ciudad de
City.
México.
I didn't know they had an office in
Soy
Mexico
Tomás
City.
Cortijo, director regional para Latinoamérica de The Pokémon
Okay.
Company International. El día de hoy estoy muy feliz de
Oh,
anunciarles
is
que
the-
Pokémon
is Mexico
Champions
office
estará
making
disponible en
Champions?
español latinoamericano desde el día de su lanzamiento.
Oh, okay.
De igual forma, además de los 9 idiomas que los entrenadores y entrenadoras pueden elegir, Leyendas
Oh,
Pokémon
was it
ZA
previously not like one of the
tendrá
first
también la
languages
opción
to
de
come out
jugarse en
when the
español
game launches?
latinoamericano.
Oh, that's actually awesome.
Esto significa
Oh, yeah.
que de aquí en adelante habrá 10 idiomas disponibles para jugar. Finalmente, como ya
I was gonna say, wait,
anunciamos
that's
con
great.
anterioridad,
Are you kidding
las
me?
futuras
Just-
expansiones de
Previously,
el
not,
famoso juego de
do y'all
cartas
not know
coleccionables
how
de Pokémon
obsessed
estarán también disponibles
just like
en
any sort of
español
like
de
Central and like South American
Localizar
people
productos
are
como
with like
Leyendas Pokémon
Dragon
ZA
Ball and
al español
Pokemon?
latinoamericano
There's an
permitirá
entire
que
generation
millones de
obsessed
nuevos
with all
fans
of those
se
things.
unan a la comunidad global de Pokémon y se conecten con otros jugadores
Trying
de
to see if I
formas
recognize this
nunca antes
convention.
vistas.
Oh,
Como
Pokemon
parte
International. Okay, it was
de
the tournament
Pokémon
convention.
Company Group,
Gotcha.
este es un
You
claro
had your
ejemplo de
music on
nuestra misión
smooth,
de
dingus.
unir al mundo a través de
Smooth.
Pokémon. Saber que
Oh,
los
yeah.
fans disfrutan
Oh,
aún
yeah.
más de jugar Pokémon en su idioma local nos permite explorar nuevas formas para deleitar a los jugadores
Well,
de diferentes
what?
regiones
Well,
y mercados como Latinoamérica. Este es un
Plus, my
momento
eye hurts for some
increíble
reason.
para ser fan de Pokémon, sin importar en qué parte del mundo te encuentres, por lo que no puedo
Okay.
esperar para unirme a todos ustedes en sus próximas aventuras.
That's just the announcement
Nos
for the
vemos pronto.
languages. More. More.
Finally, here's the latest update on Pokemon
Give me
Legends
grabby
ZA.
hands, grabby hands. I don't have hands. I don't have hand tracking. I wish I had hand tracking. Hand tracking would be neat. I need to get hand tracking. That's one of the next things I'm gonna invest on after I pay for the alerts and the rest of the fucking backgrounds. That better not be a fedora. Goodness. Okay. Ooh. Wait, there's gonna be like blocked areas. The 8th? Okay. Yes. I just keep winning. I just keep winning. I just keep winning. Except Tepig's a piece of shit. Fuck yeah, Chikorita and Totodile, baby. Totodile all the way. Totodile all the way. And then maybe another playthrough with like Chikorita. But fuck Tepig, dude. Fuck Tepig. Do you think they changed it? Do you think they changed it after the backlash of like the leaked of what like the original lore of Cyndaquil was gonna be? I mean, Cyndaquil was in the last Legends one. I hate Tepig. Tepig's terrible. Tepig's evolutions should not be what they are. This little pig should stay on the ground the whole time. His evolution should have been into like a big, massive flaming boar, not some weird like sumo wrestling looking pig man. This little pig can learn Scald. I don't care. Also, why am I getting another phone call? Hold on a second. No. God damn it. Fucking insurance companies. Suck my ass. Stop cold calling me. Should have been the fire version of Swinub, in my opinion. That would be pretty cool. That would be better. That would, in fact, be better. I may have ordered multiple juggling balls to the circus. How many is multiple? How many is multiple? Crashes right outside the tent. Hi, Gaia. Can we talk about Totodile? They're making its mega a water steel type and not a dragon? Wait, what? There's opinion for Litten and Torracat too. Incineroar just should have kept with the original Evo line. I can agree with that. There's just way too many of these Pokemon that go from like on 4s to on 2s, and I hate it. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I still have a slight cough, but I'm doing good. But Totodile #1, motherfuckers. Everybody knows Mudkip's #1 water starter, but everybody knows Totodile's #2. Chikorita is probably my #1. Trying to think of the other grass starters. Yeah, Chikorita is my #1 grass starter. Oh, this is going to be really cool with like the... Wait. What did we just pull out? What did we just pull out? Is it a phone? Was that a Rotom phone? Did we just get lifted by the Rotom phone? Wait, what? Let's go. Are we fighting alongside him? Wait a second, does your Rotom lift? I'm pretty sure it's like, it works like a glider in one of the other games so that you don't take fall damage. I'm trying to see if there's new ones in there. I didn't see any new ones in there. Fuck yeah, Mega Evolutions, dude. You look familiar. That's why, I know why your ass looks familiar, you motherfucker. How are you not dead? How are you not dead? What year is it? Is this in the past? I think this is in the past. Is that why it's all on foot? Okay. Is his lifeline? I think he's immortal.
Pokemon
No, I'm pretty sure he
is a new
is.
title
But like,
in the Pokemon series. The story takes place in Lumio City, the
okay.
largest
It's going to be
city in
very
the
interesting that it
Kalos
takes
region.
place within one
Prism
city,
Tower
but it looks like they're doing a
stands
really
tall
good
at the center
job
of this
packing
city of
in.
beautiful vistas.
You do. Yes, I can get
These
Rose Raid.
days, Lumios is undergoing a high-tech urban redevelopment plan to turn
No,
it
okay,
into a
this is
city that
modern.
people and Pokemon truly share. After you arrive in
Okay.
Lumio City to see the sights, you'll meet 3 Pokemon, one of which will become your first partner. Chikorita, Tepig,
Fuck you.
and Totodile.
Damn right. Number
You'll
one.
choose one of these
Number one,
Pokemon to
motherfucker.
accompany you on a
A
new
pass for
journey
ripping off
as
Mega
you get
Evolutions
to
from
know
Digimon. I
Lumio
fucking
City
love
and its
Digimon. Digimon
inhabitants.
has better evolutions.
Here are some of the colorful characters you'll encounter. When
Gee,
you
I wonder who the
arrive
one in the middle
Lumios,
is.
You'll meet a new friend and ally, either Urbane or Tawny.
Oh, they're
The
cute.
hotel where you'll be staying is run by
Wait, how do you
AZ.
determine which one's...
You'll also meet his partner, Floette. Lumios's redevelopment is
Aw.
being managed by Quasartico Inc. You'll become
Hey, chat. How much you want to bet that these are the bad guys? How much do you want to bet that these are the bad guys? Oh, yeah, AZ's tall as shit. Suckers bet. Suckers, holy suckers. $50,000, 100%. Yeah. Look, they even have symbols. Oh, they're totally
I'm
with that,
acquainted
guys.
with the company's CEO, Jet, and
I
her
like Vinny, though.
secretary, Vinny.
Vinny's, oh my God.
The different people you meet will make your time in Lumios all the richer.
Okay. Can we please stop with the fucking fedoras? That's just coming off the second I get in that game.
To help people and Pokemon coexist, the city has set up wild zones.
Oh.
These areas, located throughout
Green
Lumios,
areas,
give wild
okay.
Pokemon habitats where they can thrive. To catch one of these wild Pokemon, aim carefully, then throw a Pokeball.
Okay. I hold on. I do hope that this game does not have the same problem as the other Legends. Also, I see fucking Swablu down there, which means I can get my Altaria again. Let's go. Let's go. I hope they don't do the same thing again where they like almost incentivize you. What do you mean, Gilf? She's like in her late 30s. Jet in her late 30s. Okay. But I hope they don't incentivize you to do the thing where it's basically just catch like 50 of every kind of Pokemon, because that is, in fact, the worst. I hate that. A
If you're
lot.
having a hard time catching one, have one of your Pokemon use its moves to weaken the target, making it easier to catch.
Oh, you can catch it even when its health goes down like close to fainting? Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that.
This game offers a style of
I
Pokemon
like
battling
that.
not seen in previous titles. Moves can have a longer or shorter reach, or different areas of effect. So choose your timing and positioning
Wait,
carefully to gain the
you
upper
can move
hand.
and dodge attacks? Oh no. I wonder if that's gonna work.
Lead your
in
partner Pokemon
PvP.
through battles and
in like the
dodge
ranked
incoming
PvP.
attacks. Swap Pokemon
Oh, what
if
did
you
I do
need
to
to
Onyx?
and find
He's
the
so
right
small.
moment to unleash
I
a
can't believe they
move.
shrank my rock snake.
What's more, certain Pokemon can go beyond evolution by undergoing Mega Evolution.
Mega Evolution is
When a
still
trainer's
garbage.
keystone resonates with the Mega Stone
It's
held by
still
their Pokemon,
garbage.
the Pokemon will do more than just change shape. It'll unlock
Can
a
they dodge
new
my
level
hands?
of power, turning the
it's
tide
fine.
of battle in its favor.
Oh, AoE battles. I like that.
As Lumios continues
I like
its
that.
transformation into a city that belongs to both people and Pokemon,
Anime aging
who
rules, you can tell if
knows
they're
what
10,
kinds of
50, or
encounters
1,000.
and
Yeah, okay, that's
experiences
fair.
will await you.
Is that guard cell?
Pokemon Legends ZA.
Damn, we still
Coming
didn't get to see the
late
Mega Evolution for the
2025.
starters. They're really holding out on us. Oh. Good morning. Promotion match announcements. Oh. was
Pokemon
that?
Legends ZA is scheduled
Was that
to
the battle
release in
tower?
late 2025.
Why not just starter
We hope
evolutions? I want the
everybody
Mega
can wait
Evolutions.
just a little longer for their adventures in Lumios City to begin.
How much longer?
That concludes
How
our
much longer?
announcements for today.
Where's the game?
Thank you very much for watching.
How are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you taking this from me? How could you? The fucking noises that they make for these little animations. All right. Damn. Damn. Anyway, we need to figure out something else to watch now. Give me but a moment, because I didn't grab anything else to look at. I mean, we do have Exhibition Theme Park's newest video on the Universal Hard Rock Cafe. Abandoned Universal Hard Rock Cafe, mind you. Let me get the music for y'all before I forget. All right. Raid their channels, show the game. Oh, I didn't see the Pokemon could dodge. Thought they were talking about the player model. It looks like your Pokemon follows you in battle. So whenever that character like ran to the side, their Totodile followed them and dodged the rollout, which is very interesting. I think that'll be an interesting mechanic, but I feel like if it comes around to, what was it? The like ranked battles and stuff, I think that's going to be disabled. I mean, it'd be interesting. It'd definitely be interesting, but it'd be so hard Can you imagine once people figure out what every single move does, how easy people are going to start just dodging moves? Or worse, there's going to be some moves that are like auto hits that like they'll always hit. And people are just going to start running those so that they don't have to worry about people dodging their attacks. And we'll be curious. I wonder how big the Pokemon models are going to scale. Because at that point, if you can just dodge, then that would mean having a smaller framed Pokemon would actually be a statistical advantage. With the conga line of Pokemon again, it'll be fine. I may not even stream it this time. If we don't have partner by the time this game comes out, I probably won't stream it. I want that partner badge. I want that partner badge. And Pokemon was not exactly a gung-ho stream game when it came out. Use confusion, let them dodge their own fists. What was it? I think confusion is 50% chance to hit themselves, right? Baron keeps not streaming games. This is so sad. Hey, listen, we have a theme here, and y'all seem to really want to stick to the theme half the time, most of the time. And the problem with doing like RPGs or long playthings is it statistically y'all lose interest. I'm sure Sunstar and I'm sure like a bunch of the regulars still enjoy it, but just statistically speaking, y'all lose interest. It happens. I'm not surprised. Plus, it's hard for people to want to sit and watch a RPG, especially like Persona 5 that has 100+ hour campaign. Like that shit's hard. Gonna run Swift or Arrowway since it never misses. True. It could be. That could be the case. The lawsuit that killed Goosebumps? Interesting. The man with the target on his chest? The Zodiac Killer. Chat. Actually, I think I want to introduce you to a channel I found a couple days ago. Does anybody know Abstract? The channel Abstract. They have 10 whole videos and they have 500k subscribers. Their shit is awesome. If you've seen them anywhere, you probably saw the video on unmasking a killer serial arsonist. Because that was on my fucking YouTube feed for months. Nothing wrong with wanting to switch things up. True. I was going to run it as Swift. Okay. Yeah, it's just the downside of playing like long form RPGs, especially if I'm having fun, though, is that it either boils down to some people are like, I haven't played this game, but I want to, so I don't want spoilers, so I'm going to leave. Or I've seen so much of this game, or I've played it already, so I'm just going to use it like either in the background, or I don't much care for this, so I'm just going to skip this stream. There's tons of different options when it comes to long form RPGs, especially in things that are outside of my usual category, which is hard. Like, so sometimes, a lot of the times I need to make decisions. I need to make decisions on what games we play. Like, Signalis is super fun and everything, but it's very quickly already reaching that kind of end of the line of a game. Like, usually more than 3 or 4 streams for a game is almost too long. It's where, like, some of y'all's attention span starts to run out. And it happens. I can't blame y'all for that. So I don't know what's going on effect. True. Sorry, I'm, like, adjusting myself in my chair. I can't sit straight, so I have to, like, you know, sit extremely gay in my chair. Anybody else sit cross-legged in their chair? All right, chat. We have options. Do you want to learn about the Nutty Putty Cave accident, the world's deadliest roller coaster, or the hike that killed 5 schoolboys? Literally me right now. Listen, it's comfy, okay? Uncrossed legs, no. Neko, sure. Structuring the Mage game in arcs to try and mitigate that. Oh, no. Oh,
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
That wouldn't be the worst thing. Hectic, actually, we can talk about this right now. The thing when it comes to tabletop RPG games, it's usually the drama, the excitement, and the combat of your players that keeps people entwined in it. But a better thing to do is not to put all of your eggs in one basket for this case. Also, hold on, what was that? Oh, good lord. Better Dectalabs Wigdosinag. Welcome in, thank you for the follow. But when it comes to those, you're basically making a drama series. You're making a like amateur drama series when it comes to like World of Darkness games and stuff. So on top of doing the streams and probably making them highlights if you wanted to, and if you had space for it, uploading it somewhere for people to watch on YouTube as well as audio. That's why usually when I play, I try to like speak and do motions and actions as if I'm in an audio only format. Because tabletop stuff is entirely like second monitor content. And that's the thing too with figuring out what the stuff that you're making is between first monitor and second monitor content. First monitor is something people are going to be engaged with and just watching the entire time. You're going to be staring dead-eyed into what I am doing depending on that. I don't think I do that most of the time. Most of the time. I make second monitor content more than half the time and probably will be in the future on YouTube. It's basically going to be something that you turn on, put on a different monitor and listen to while you're playing a game or doing your homework or some shit. And that's the same thing with tabletop games. Tabletop games will never be first monitor content. Not even Critical Role is first monitor content. The uploads to YouTube but didn't toss that up on a podcast site. I would recommend Spotify. Spotify is pretty easy to get like audio stuff uploaded and categorized and everything. Stays on my main monitor? Well, thank you, Retro. That actually means a lot. But yeah, it comes to like understanding the things that you're making and figuring out whether this is going to be something that y'all are going to just listen to or something you're going to watch. Watching is first monitor, listening is second monitor. But it's always something to figure out with the certain things that you make. I mean, I think I could probably describe some of them as first monitor, some of the stuff that I do as first monitor. I still think back to the Ringney Street Ripper case that we talked about, aka the Ladybird Lake Killer. I think that was really fun, and I kind of want to try to do an update stream on it. I'd have to do a little bit of research to see if there's been anything going on. I have Marin on the phone. Yay, phone. Those are so cute. Those emotes are so cute. Hi, Anne. How are you doing? Goodness. Wait, I just realized it says Maya has 109 more emotes. Jesus. Wait, what's that one? Slam. Nyong, cute. God, all of their emotes being like the same quality and seemingly from the same artist is crazy. I am too, and I'm upset I don't have access. Actually, hold on real quick. Okay, let me do this really quick. I want to see, because before I started stream, I was looking at Twitch's, like the following page I had, and there was people that said they were like setting up for Monster. Okay, Zentray is playing Monster Hunter. Lane is playing. Ateru's playing. Oh, Cabal's not going to play Monster Hunter? He's going to play something else? Wow. Wow. Okay, looks like, not Cabal, looks like Red Claw is going to be going into Monster Hunter World. Okay. Huh. What was the requirement to get the pre-order, to get like the early access? Oh yeah, I have it pre-downloaded. It's already ready to go. It's just like, I guess they don't have early access. Unfortunately. Very unfortunately. Which does kind of suck, but you know, as you do. As you do. Okay, Tiffany's going to be playing it. There's actually shockingly few out of all the people that I know once or are going to be playing Monster Hunter. I thought Monster Hunter Wilds came out at 9 a.m., so I went to bed early. Now I'm tired. Help, I want to play it so bad or I'm going to die. And they're playing World of Warcraft. Amazing. I love that. I love that. That's funny. Again, I want to hunt with friends. Yeah. Your model gives me mouthwashing vibes. Is it because it's just low poly? Listen, low poly's cool, okay? I like this model. It's such a small niche game. Is it? Is it though? A game by Capcom about hunting monsters that's over 20 years old. Is it small and niche? Is it? Are you sure? Cap who? Cap who? The Dark Carnival arcade machine when? I would love to have like an actual Dark Carnival arcade machine someday. Get somebody to like program a maybe not a low poly game, but maybe like a pixel game, and see if I could remodel a like arcade cabinet, a retro arcade cabinet. That'd be interesting. I could probably get that done. I could probably find a vinyl company that'd be able to print the sides for me. Capcom? You mean that indie company? Ah, yes, small indie company, Capcom. I get Zelda's Majora's Mask vibes. Really? I've never played, I don't think I've ever played a Zelda game. Also, the Sasha Kitty, thank you for the follow. Welcome in, guys. But here, let's do something that's moderately relevant. It's only a 12-minute video. We'll do the deadliest roller coaster crash, because I want to know what this is. And then maybe we'll do, I don't know. But chat, if you don't know who Abstract is, I fucking love them because their stuff is so good. Here, there's the link if anybody wants to check out their other stuff. I highly recommend checking out the Unmasking a Killer Serial Arsonist. It's very interesting and very demented. It's very demented. Iron Warrior 94, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How's your day going? What trouble are you getting into? You know, I kind of see it, Bob. Wait, which one? Oh, the Majora's Mask. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull that up. Let me see here. Majora's Mask. I mean, okay, hold on. Models. Okay, I can kind of see it. My hair's textured differently than the way that they did it, but I can kind of see it. Although theirs is definitely much earlier, low poly modeling with not nearly as many details. Like, mine is definitely a product of what modern 3D can do. Realized didn't follow on Twitch, so I wanted to fix that. Hell yeah. Welcome in, Iron. How are you doing? Pog plus level 1. Wait, what? Pog plus level 1? What does that mean? What do you mean? I'm confused. Explain, Drothy. Explain. Tell me your secrets. Tell me your secrets. All right. Yeah, I think I do want to do the... Oh, it's muted. Why is it muted? Weird. All right, chat. Also, Sagan Hawks. Horror of the Inhospitable. Also, good song. I love the intro to this song. Where it's just like the heavy drums that kind of like, it kind of fogs your brain a little bit and then it just solidifies the beat. It's so good. Oh, I love this song. I'm sorry. I like all the versions of We Didn't Start the Fire. It's just a good song, okay? Santo GMOs. Secrets? Oh no. Twilight Wi-Fi. Bleh. I don't know this one just as well as I know the original, but it's still a fun song. All right. Let me swing right on over. We'll swing over here. Yoink. Hi, Chad. All right. Let me cease the music, Fall Out Boy. All right. I'm looking forward to Wilds. I went physical, so I got to pick my pre-order up first thing tomorrow morning. Well, I was going to say why physical, but no, that makes sense. Never mind. Carry on. Everybody should get physical if you can. I'm just a stupid bitch who's totally fine with getting virtually screwed over at some point. Welcome to Abstract, chat. Oh, okay, this is before they became Abstract. Oh, interesting. I wonder if this will be done by the same woman.
On the 30th of May, 1972, 3 carriages on the Big Dipper roller coaster at the Battersea Fun Fair in London, carrying mostly children and teenagers, began unexpectedly hurtling backwards down the track before derailing and smashing into the hoarding below.
Let's get physical. All right, anyway. Sorry.
Claiming the lives of 5 passengers and injuring 13 others in the process.
You did this, Sunstar.
To this day, it remains the deadliest roller coaster disaster of all time.
To this day? Well, I guess technically nobody died from the Smiler accident, if that makes sense. I suppose.
The Big Dipper roller coaster was part of the Battersea Fun Fair and was located in London's South Bank. Initially installed as part of the 1951 Festival of Britain, a nationwide event designed to lift the spirits of the country, the Fun Fair element was kept on due to its popularity.
Beyond human comprehension and arson. Nice try, stupid. I can comprehend them.
Despite its old-fashioned sounding name,
enjoy what you gotta do, Ordain. Thank you for hanging out.
Because it was, as many have argued, one of the very first theme parks as we might understand them today, predating Disney by 4 years. The Battersea Fun Fair's design was somewhat novel for its time, employing exotic-looking architectural facades and fantastical elements to give the visitor a sense of being in another world entirely, even if that world had no basis in reality. Visitors could step back in time to a fantastical medieval England and ride through Dragon Mountain.
The British strike again.
They could attend the races at Monte Carlo.
You did this.
Go on a cruise around the world. Marvel at a Mississippi-style showboat from which old-fashioned Kentucky-style music was played. Or perhaps, even, ride a rocket ship heading straight to the moon. While the fairgrounds offered an almost endless opportunity to immerse oneself in pure, unadulterated escapism, of course, by far the most popular
this is one of her earlier videos. Her newer ones are
friction roller coaster known as the Big Dipper. Dominating the park's skyline and reaching heights of 15 meters, the ride frequently attracted exceptionally long queues and was a must-do attraction for young thrill seekers, employing several steep drops and a section through a large, dark tunnel. By 1972, however, the ride was nearly half a century old, and while still extremely popular, it had gone through a number of repairs and redesigns. Coupled with alleged rampant mismanagement and a general lack of health and safety laws at the time, this once mesmerizing ride had become a tragedy waiting to happen. It was a warm and sunny spring afternoon on Tuesday the 30th of May, 1972. Schools in the UK had just broken up for half-term, and so the Battersea Fun Fair was particularly busy.
Broken up for half-term. We burned the school down! Alright, we'll rebuild it before school's time to come back for the next semester.
To board the ride. At around 2:30 p.m, 30 people, mostly children, boarded the 3-car train. As was common for some older roller coasters at the time, a brakeman would also be riding in one of the cars, because the ride's design required someone to manually slow it down before bends and as the ride came to an end.
The roller coasters.
The ride began as normal, with the train being slowly winched up the hill by its haulage rope, making a distinct creaking noise as it went, while those in the queue were excitedly watching on, waiting for the inevitable drop. But as the train was being hauled up the first incline, just before the first peak, that haulage rope unexpectedly broke, and the entire train began going backwards down the track. As the train gathered speed, the brakeman desperately tried and failed to put the brakes on. Visitors who were there that day have described how, at this stage, the crowds below began laughing because it seemed as though it was meant to happen, perhaps either as a deliberate prank played by the brakeman,
the guardian,
or an amusing but harmless ride failure. Even the passengers themselves thought, at least momentarily, that it was an elaborate prank designed to scare them. Sadly, neither was the case. And
did
as the
I
train
ride the
continued to
Cyclone when I
gain
was in New York? I don't think I did. I think I only rode
this.
I rode the steeplechase.
Laughs quickly turned to screams when the first car
steeplechase while I was there, which is still one of the coolest roller coasters I've been on, because you ride it like you're riding a horse.
15 feet.
It's really cool.
The other two cars then disappeared behind the wooden screens covering the entrance area, smashing into another stationary train and causing some of the wooden hoardings to collapse. As the accident happened, some passengers were flung out, leaving some hanging upside down over the railings and walkway area, and some lying on the floor in front of the crowds, having been flung into the air. The front carriage had
how much force could this thing have had when it rolled down? Even with the brakeman there, it shouldn't have had that much force.
15 meters from the ground. One 15-year-old girl who was on this carriage became shocked and dazed and made for the wooden walkway and handrail to steady herself. At first, she began screaming that she wanted to get off, but then she saw her friend who was covered in debris. Unfortunately, in moving to help her,
can you
the structure gave way beneath
thinking
her feet,
that you being like, oh my god, that was crazy. Okay, I survived. I want to get off. I want to leave. And the railing, you're leaning on brakes and you fall 15 meters.
The scene quickly turned into one
For anybody who doesn't know, that's about 45 feet.
Onlookers rushed to help those that were stuck under debris and the bodies of the other passengers.
It's 40 plus feet.
Children and teenagers.
We'll go with that. It's 40 plus feet.
As emergency workers flocked to the scene, shockingly,
enough
the
to be
funfair
lethal.
Quickly returned to normal
Enough
as
to be
visitors
lethal.
continued to queue for rides and pop music blared through the park's speakers, even as the rescuers worked to free
First you're on a roller coaster and you're like, oh, okay, and then you just, you remember falling slightly and then you're staring at the pearly gates and fucking St. Paul is laughing at you.
And 2 later in hospital. And a further 13 were injured.
I would die mad.
In the aftermath, there was only one question on everybody's minds. How could such a devastating accident happen at one of the UK's most well-loved amusement parks?
Oh my goodness, how could such a devastating accident happen on a 100-year-old roller coaster?
In the days after the tragedy, nobody seemed to have any answers.
Back to riding the rides.
The people in charge of the roller coasters themselves, who were careful to emphasise that monthly inspections
could
of the
not
Big
say
Dipper
how the
were carried
accident
out by a
happened.
qualified engineer. It wasn't long before accusations began flying and calls for a full-scale public inquiry soon dominated the pages of national newspapers.
This is the actual size. This is the canon,
carried out their
well,
own
the
private
default size for this
investigations
model.
on the matter. A full-scale public investigation was carried out.
And there's no.
By the end of 1972, the public investigation had been completed.
Look at that
and passed on to the
nerd.
Director of Public Prosecutions. And
What a
by
fucking
February of
nerd.
1973, a trial was underway, charging Frank Etches, the engineer responsible for its inspection,
What were
and the
the
ride manager
British
James
thinking,
Hogan,
letting their
with
judges dress like
manslaughter.
that?
The findings of that trial
What were we
would
thinking? I'm
come
pretty
to
sure
shock the
the
nation.
American judges
The
dressed like that at some
inspectors involved
point.
in the inquiry found almost every aspect of the ride to be defective.
The fact that they had to
reporting a total of
change their
66
wigs, apparently,
defects,
upon prosecution.
18 of them in the support of the structure. The ride was, quite literally, a death trap. Let's briefly go over the main contributing factors
66
so we can
faults
understand
and
just
5
how much
children
of a
died.
show this really was. The first contributing factor...
Wait, did you say how much of a shit show this
Let's
was?
briefly go over the main contributing factors so we can understand just how much of a show this really was.
It was censored.
The
Nice.
first contributing
I like
factor
it. I can
was
respect
the
it.
unsatisfactory condition
can
of the
respect it.
haulage rope that had snapped during the uphill incline. On top of this,
And it was
the
a
rope was
rope. It
found
wasn't
to be
a chain.
only
It
partially
was a
engaged in the
rope.
gripping device required for it to work effectively. The second contributing factor was the poorly maintained safety devices.
I don't know.
Roller
I don't know
coasters of
about
this
that out
type
in Europe.
were built with arresters, also known as dogs, and these could be used as brakes should a train start to
First
go
person to
backwards
point out the
down a
judge of the
slope.
wig change is
On the
guilty.
Big Dipper,
Oh my god.
8 of these dogs should have been in place. So why didn't they work? Well, for a start, 4 were found to be missing. Of the 4 that remained, 3 were found to be
Missing?
defective, meaning that only
What?
1 working arrestor was in place at the time of the accident. Unsurprisingly,
And it punched through the
that
wood.
arrestor snapped under the weight of the train as it hurled backwards.
Yeah,
The
of
third
course it did. There's
contributing
supposed to be
factor
8 of those
was the
things.
condition of the structural work, which was described as deplorable. Significant
gonna
rot
say,
was
it's a
found to be
wooden,
present
probably
in 5 separate
untreated roller
places,
coaster.
as well as excessive algae growth on the walkway on which one of the engineers had slipped while carrying out their investigations.
Ugh.
It was on this defective walkway that the young girl had fallen through when she had been thrown out of the train. The fourth contributing factor was the misalignment of the
Misalignment?
track along which the train was hauled.
They had injuries and a few fatalities for years. Do we need to do Action Park? Do we need to teach everybody about Action Park?
There were also a number of other indirect, but no less important, contributing factors too.
We're going to snooze that ad break, and then we'll run the ad break after this video is done. And that'll give me enough time to go find the, we'll find the Action Park video.
Years old at the time had been purchased as replacements.
You're going to be educated about one of the worst water parks of all time. And I say that as somebody who worked at a pretty shitty water park.
Were nothing more than teenage boys without training of any sort. A former Big Dipper employee would testify that both management and employees were drinking and using drugs while working, and that a very similar incident had in fact
that sounds like people that manage an amusement park,
causing a passenger to fracture their arm.
The dinosaur water park.
Now, if you're wondering how the ride could have been allowed to get into such a condition, even with regular inspections, you're not alone. The answer to this can get quite complicated,
too.
But it basically boils down to how fairgrounds were governed at the time. Long story short,
they weren't
really. There was a voluntary code of practice for some types of fairgrounds, but these were full of loopholes.
It's predictable,
inspections by
Listen, amusement park history is predictable.
But how often,
history is predictable. You know enough
what
history.
Constituted qualified was
People
mostly up to the individual owner. It would be these poor health and safety requirements that would be used as the main defence throughout the trial.
Two cleared?
And in November 1973, both the structural engineer and the manager
of them are going to get away with it.
Were acquitted. While the structural engineer had certified the riders, quote, structurally and operationally sound, the judge had contended that this assessment only applied to the train and its cars when they were stationary, and it did not mean that he was responsible or even obliged to test and certify the mechanical side of the Big Dipper. The ride's manager...
What? Wait a second. This motherfucker got away with, like... Also, look at the dudes in this picture. What am I looking at? One guy's eyes are closed. I'm pretty sure that's actually a corpse. And then I think the guy on the right is the one that killed him. I don't know what's going on in this picture. But are you telling me that this engineer gets away with it because he said, oh, hey, yeah, I only inspected when it's stationary, so when it's moving, it's not my problem.
Was found not guilty because the jury decided that, as a former fitter's mate, he could not be expected to have sufficient knowledge to ensure the ride's safety.
I would not be surprised.
While the Big Dipper itself was dismantled after the accident, and some of its parts used for a smaller ride, the park itself remained open.
But what parts could you reuse in a wooden coaster?
The fair's popularity rapidly declined.
To take those down, you usually just have to shatter them.
While the Battersea Funfair disaster did trigger a chain of events that would eventually lead to a number of changes in the law, change was not as immediate as you might think. It would take nearly 2 years from the accident for fairgrounds to be brought under health and safety law, which had then been reworked to cover members of the public. Despite being the worst roller coaster disaster of all time, even to this day,
I guess it was supposed to do that. I didn't like the way that log flume was working.
However, as of May 2022,
thank God for modern log flumes
to commemorate the disaster's 50th anniversary, and there are further plans for a more permanent memorial underway. Still, while many have dubbed the event Britain's forgotten disaster, for the family of the 5 children who lost their lives and the traumatized survivors, the Battersea Funfair disaster no doubt.
That's a demon. I don't know what's going on with her face, but I'm pretty sure that's a demon.
And as real as ever.
I think it's funny that this is how they started out at the beginning before they became abstract. Because they went from this to, let me see. I can show y'all. We'll do like part of this. We'll do a quick glimpse because we have 2 minutes. I'm just gonna pick. They went from doing that to doing like making these like 3D renders and stuff.
Possibly inadequate health and safety training.
It's very good. It's very good. Here, chat, if you want to check out more of their stuff, and one of my favorite ones that's like a long form video to watch, go check out this video. This is on a serial killer arsonist. It's very interesting to listen to if you haven't. Nope. All right. We're going to take a brief break. I'm going to give you words on stream. I will start the ad break a little bit early so that I... One, can go get the video because I'm going to show y'all fucking Action Park. Here we go again. Because I do know that there is a pretty good Action Park video out here. All right. Take that. Take your music. And I will be back in a little bit, in just a couple minutes. I may try to go snack on some cured meats while we have the commercial break. Yeah, that's probably the one we're going to look at.
Nope.
Y'all failed? No, Sunstar! God damn it! Hold on a second. How could... Oh, Jesus. Work, damn you. There we go. All right. Damn it, Sunstar. Damn it. How could you? How could you? All right, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I still got another cracker here I can snack on. Ow. I found another brand of crackers that I like having with my cured meat. And they're basically better Ritz. They're wider. They're wider and a little bit thinner. I like them. I'm busy ripping and tearing my way through Night City / Dogtown. Good. Good. Burn it to the ground. Like Ritzy Ritz? Do you mean, are you asking if they're like fancier than Ritz? Maybe a little bit. I kind of like them though. They still have like the buttery, flaky texture of like a Ritz cracker. But I think they're quite good. Also, I don't think my tracking is locked on properly. All right. There we go. Oh, mouse? Mouse? Okay. Okay, I couldn't hear what the song was for a second, so I had to listen. All right, as soon as y'all are done with this, right now, we will get to this. We have I found the Defunct Land History of Action Park. Chat, are you ready to learn about one of the worst amusement parks? The worst. Let's call it shitstorm. Fuck yeah, this place is nuts. All right. How many people do not know of Action Park? One's for if you know Action Park, two's if you don't. I need to know. I want to know what our ratio is here. One's for you know what Action Park is, two for you don't. Okay, perfect. That's how long it's been since we've talked about or learned on Action Park, so I'm very happy that there are people who have no idea what Action Park is. This is very good. I'm actually really happy with this. All right, hold on. Wait, Ghost, what did you say? Oh, goodness. Doomslayer Rip and Tear comments. Was an obvious Gorilla Gloves, LMG, iconic double barrel shotgun. Oh, Sovereign is so good. I use Sovereign in my shotgun build. All right, let's do this. Welcome to Action Park, motherfuckers.
Once again.
Fantastic.
Hold on, why is captions in German? Fine, auto-generated is fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Anna Gilligan is there this morning. Hello, Anna.
Welcome to New Jersey, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think you're seeing some guys jump off the Tarzan jump here at Action Park.
I think you're seeing. Come on, you got to pretend like you can actually see them.
June 14th. I'm here with the owner, Andrew Mulhaville. He's also the son of the man who founded it. Thanks for being here.
Because they reopened it.
Thanks for coming out. What a day we have. It's beautiful here at Action Park.
So I gotta ask you, because Action Park got a bit of a reputation.
35 horse stories. The shocking true story. 10 reasons why Action Park was the worst water park.
Some people got injured.
Injuries up in 86. Drowns in pool at Action Park.
That was 30 years ago. The world has changed. I mean, when my dad started the park, he was the guy inventing
Well, Lombardo,
the rides
thank you for
and
the follow.
bringing
Welcome
inventors
in.
Now it's
Enjoy the
highly
show.
regulated. Everything's engineered.
I love Action Park because it's so beautiful.
Hold on, really quick. Chat, as somebody who used to manage at a water park and worked more than 2 seasons at a water park and helped set up all the other things, you would be shocked to know how many people go to the water park and don't know how to swim. It is a significant percentage. There are significant numbers of people that go to the water park that don't know how to swim. And like, that's fine because water parks are typically designed to have no deep pools. Typically, unless you're in like the wave pool, which also typically doesn't get very deep. And that's typically fine. But you will learn very quickly who doesn't know how to swim when they come out of a water slide. I could not tell you how many people I saw come off the end of a water slide, land in a pool that is like 3.5, maybe 4 feet deep, and just watch them start to drown. Like, they just panic. They hit the water and just start losing their shit. And it'll be grown people. I've seen teenagers. I've seen grown men. I've seen grown women that just like lose their shit when they come out of the bottom of a water slide and just start drowning. Which is why water parks typically at those like basins, at those water things, will have a lifeguard there. Because fucking people come in and don't know how to swim. And when they're flung into the water and the water's over their head, that's fucking over. It's Jover. I'm always surprised learning to swim is not mandatory everywhere. I'm always surprised too, because I learned to swim when I was like 3. My dad was the type of parent that was throw you in the water, all right, sink or swim, bitch. And I swam. I fucking love swimming. I spent almost every summer of my childhood every day down at the local pool because it was right around the block from me. Or urban areas, nowhere, big reason to learn. Correct. That's usually the thing. And it's like, because water parks are typically in large urban areas, and they're often affordable, depending on which ones you go to. Like Six Flags, not exactly affordable. But more local places, like the one that I worked at, was very affordable. It was $12 per person for the entire day. And people would come in that lived like basically just in the city the entire time that didn't know how to swim. And I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's also what happened with Action Park, is that it was basically in New Jersey, and it was in like one of the more like underprivileged neighborhoods. I think, if I remember correctly, that is what he will talk about. Because I do remember hearing that from this, that it was like very like low income neighborhoods, kids kind of fun. So there was people coming in that didn't know how to swim here either. And a lot of folks bust in from the city. True. John Wayne movie, he threw a kid in the river because he could swim, then the mom because she couldn't swim either. Maybe? I don't know. I don't think I've seen an entire John Wayne movie. But let's get to this. Action Park. Gay green alien. Amazing. I'm looking to see if there's any names in here and I recognize, just so that I can yell at y'all if I see you in chat.
The year is 1976.
Does that say Alpine, or is that supposed to be the
Great American
Alpine?
Recreation has added a new attraction to Vernon, New Jersey's Vernon Valley Ski Resort. 2 brand new Alpine slides
yes.
were
Okay,
installed
this
to
is
keep
the
business up in
origin.
the
I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit though.
An Alpine slide is a 1-person cart ride in which the rider
So
rides
it's a
down
little
hill
bit
on a
quieter
smooth
than
track.
me.
The
Let me know if it
rider
gets
has a
too
brake
quiet, guys.
lever in between their legs, giving them complete control of their speed. The
Okay,
attraction
bye.
had become popular for ski resorts in the late 70s. And
Anybody
Vernon
ever been
Valley
on
Ski
these?
Resort's Alpine slide was advertised as an attraction.
I've never been
for
on one
all
of these
ages,
before.
claiming,
Never had the
"We've
chance."
had grandfathers and we've had kids of kindergarten age coming down our runs alone. I also have a picture
Sure.
showing a mother controlling the sled with an infant in her arms. It's that easy.
I mean, it
After
is
the
pretty
success of the
easy,
slide,
but
Mulvihill
there's
moved
also
forward
people
with
that are
his plans to
stupid.
expand the ski resort into a water park during the off-season. He added 2 water slides and a racetrack, and more slides.
Wait, why was there 2 kids going down that water slide at the same time? That should not have been happening.
The Vernon Valley Summer Park was rebranded to Action Park, a thrilling amusement park where you control the action. More slides and rides.
That's actually
were
a nice
added, and they
sign. I
began
like
their
that
big
sign.
marketing push to draw audiences into their new
Speeding down a concrete gutter on a cart, pass. I'd probably be riding that brake pretty hard.
When it's hot out, this is a great place to spend the day with your family. So lots of big things for little
Hold on. Where's Faye? Faye, are you still listening?
So beautiful.
I need you here for a second.
When it's hot out, this is a
Can we bring this hairstyle back? I don't know why. There's something cute about this hairstyle. I don't want it. I just want it to be back. I want to see people with this hairstyle again. I don't know what to call it. I call it the Pam hairstyle. Around where I grew up was a place called Kenobi Lake Park, had this kind of thing with empty sacks instead of sleds. Are you talking about like the race slides? I do remember there was a slide at like amusement parks that I've been to and state fairs that was like those multi-lane racetracks, and you would get into like a potato sack and slide down the slide using that.
spend the day with your family. So lots of big things for little kids to do. I love Action Park because it's so beautiful.
Big things for little kids to do. All right, what's the height requirements?
Race like a pro.
Also, those didn't look like water slides. That looked like more,
Amazing rides in the world.
what's the word? Action Park.
The park was revolutionary.
Route 94.
Not only was it one of the first water parks of its kind in the United States, but it also marketed itself as the biggest. It was eventually home to
It marketed itself
rides,
as the biggest.
40 of which were water.
Oh yeah, you could
Park
just
was
do
split
that.
into 3 themed
Chat, did you know that? Hold
the
on.
First was.
Oh no. Chat, did you know you could just market yourself as anything you want? I wish I was joking. There's a restaurant here that opened a second restaurant. I don't remember what it's called. It's somebody's name. And then the other one was that same person's name, but turned into like a Spanish equivalent. I'm not going to say what it is. And both of those restaurants are advertised as being the #1 of like X category. I know one is like #1 like Mexican food place. And the other one's like #1 like I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's always like voted #1, and it's like if you ask them, and I have asked them because I've gone there in person a couple times to the point where I got to meet the owner, and I asked them, I was like, so what's the voted thing that y'all like won? And if you want to see somebody dodge a question, ask anybody that. If they don't have prizes and stuff like up on the wall, they're probably bullshitting. Yes, Dave's and my favorite, Los Daves. Los Daves. #1 movie in the world and you can't say otherwise. Do you have a movie, Moosin? Do you have a movie? Myself as Queen of the World? It's because like, you can market it. Doesn't mean it's true. David. All right, let's go to Motor World. David.
Motorworld consisted of 3 types of attractions: land, water, and air rides. On
Oh
land
no,
was
not
the
the
popular
sling.
battle action tanks. For an additional fee, guests could ride inside tanks
Just
equipped with
aluminum
tennis ball
tanks.
cannons. The goal was to shoot the other tanks in the caged area on one of their targets.
How many tennis balls do you
disabling the
have?
cannons for 15 seconds. Those that chose to ride the tanks were allotted 5 minutes to do so, and those that did not want to ride could pay to use a stationary cannon from the outside.
Okay.
Maintenance employees attempting to fix broken down tanks would be subject to fire from the rowdy guests, making the attraction a nightmare to work at. The
Yeah,
other
who would wanna
land-based
do that?
Motorworld attractions were the Lola cars and the Super Go-Karts.
I say that just
both
reminds me
which
of
were
like
kart race
before
attractions.
people started
The
making
Super
armored
Go-Karts
golf
were
carts
driven
to
on
go
a
pick up
small
golf
loop.
balls
The
at
carts
golf
themselves were
courts.
designed to max out at 20 miles per hour, but the employees found that sticking a tennis ball in the governor device allowed the cart to go as fast as possible, with the new maximum speed
Wait,
being around
what- how-
50 miles an hour.
The tennis
Head-on
ball? All right,
collisions
guys, I found this
frequently
tennis
sent
ball
guests
at the
to
tanks. I'm gonna go
hospital, and
shove
the
this
fumes
in
from
the
engines
governor
overwhelmed
device.
riders at times. The Lolo cars were
I don't think a
mini
governor
open
device is
cockpit
typically
race cars
big
driven
enough
on a longer
to
track,
shove something
and
in
they
it.
cost an additional charge to ride. Their maximum speed could also be tampered with
Paquito
by
sees
park
this. Oh my
employees.
god.
These were also used after hours by the workers, sometimes being taken off the track and driven on the nearby highway. There were
What?
2 water rides in Motorworld.
Oh, I
The super
forgot
speed
about
boats
that.
Were driven in a small circle around an island in a pond.
Oh,
A
these
pond that
boats are a
also
bad
had
idea.
large population of snakes in it. The guests would
Yeah.
often attempt to bump nearby boats, as if they were on Motorworld's other water attraction, bumper boats.
I've been on a bumper
These were
boats
boats
before.
placed in
There's actually a
small
place
pool and
here.
Were designed to withstand.
There's actually a park here that they may not have them anymore. They may be defunct now. But they actually had the same kind of bumper boats. They were really gross. They were really old, and they were only operated like 1 day out of the week. But, you know, as you were.
Guests crashing into one another.
That water
These
also
were known
looks
to leak
gnarly.
acid, which once required a guest to be examined after too much fuel leaked on their skin. The boats were also incredibly small, and riders with long legs had to position their feet off the side of the boat to fit.
I
This
mean,
led to
it also
injuries
looks
and
like it's
bone
about to
fractures
flip
after
just from the
collisions.
average weight of a person.
Finally, Motorworld had 2 air-based attractions.
Hi, Stevie.
One was Space Shot, which was a typical drop
Air-based
tower ride and was one of
attractions,
the
my
safest rides
ass.
at the park, given it was only
Air-based
open
attractions,
for
my
Action Park's last
ass.
operating year. The second air ride was another upcharge attraction, Slingshot, which was also fairly safe. This ride was a common
I don't like. They always look like fun, and I would ride it once.
Bungee cords and flipped upside down
But
as they
I know
flew through
these
the air.
slingshot
There's
rides,
no doubt that Motorworld
regardless
had
of where
its
you go,
dangerous
are
attractions,
extremely
but this is just the
unsafe.
beginning of what Action Park has in store. Another section of the park was
Alpine attractions.
many non-water-based attractions were located in their own section of the park.
Country Time
sometimes
Lemonade.
labeled the Alpine Slide.
Hell yeah.
These included the aforementioned Alpine Slides, as well as a bungee jump titled the Snapple Snap Up Whippersnapper Ride.
Oh.
Originally having 2 jump stations and then
Wait. Say that one more time.
The Snapple Snap Up Whippersnapper Ride.
There was some old as dirt executive that came up with that name in the Snapple boardroom. I guarantee it. The Snapple Snap Up Whippersnapper Ride. Christ.
Originally having 2 jump stations and then later 4, guests could jump off the tower for an additional fee. A skate park also had a short run at Action Park.
Wait, what?
Guests could jump off the Snap-Up Whippersnapper ride. Originally having 2 jump stations and then later 4, guests could jump off the tower for an additional fee.
So what did you do without the fee? Was it just an observation tower? Would you just go up and be like, oh, okay, this is a cool view? Is that what it was? Is that what they were saying? Because then you have to pay again to jump off of it. It's like, I really don't want to take the stairs this time, guys.
A skate park also had a short run at Action Park. It was poorly
The
designed,
Snapple
surrounded by
Whippersnapper ride.
and edges, which led to many injuries during its existence. Interestingly, Action Park also had an attraction entitled the Action Park Gladiator Challenge, partially based off of the popular American Gladiators TV show. This included obstacle courses and jousting matches against the Action Park Gladiators. Finally, Action Park had its own monorail called the Transmobile. This went to the ski lodge, the Alpine Center, and
it's so tiny. Look at it, though.
So far, Action Park has proved to be dangerous. But where are the absolutely terrifying rides?
It's going to be the bungee cord ones. I don't trust those bungee cord rides. You're insane.
Where are the water slides?
Water worlds.
This section put the action
without the fee. They pushed you without the cord. You had to rent the cord.
A 100 feet by 200 feet pool that could hold anywhere between 500 and 1,000 people. The pool's floor was slanted, and the further a guest went in it, the deeper it got.
A remarkable structure of engineering.
It could reach a height of over 3 feet. This was challenging for swimmers of all skill levels, as the pool was hard to read and the fresh water was more difficult to swim in than salt water. A dozen lifeguards were on duty at the pool, and they would have to save around 30 people on a busy day. The Tarzan swing was a heavily advertised attraction in which guests would swim on
I do remember the wave pool being a place where people would...
It was so cool that lifeguards would have to rescue guests that could not swim after the shock of the cold water. This was also a popular attraction for men to pull down their pants or women to pull up their tops for the line of people to see. The appropriately named
Wait, for when they're going off the ride or whenever they're like on the bridge?
Down an assembly line style roller coaster, hurtling them toward a shallow pool that they would skip across. If the guest was not in an ideal position, it would get caught under the water, sending the rider crashing forward.
That's the fun part, though.
There were these slides, each 30 feet long, but a third slide was eventually added.
That's the fun part, though.
Two jumping bases, one 23 feet and the other 18 feet tall.
That was a terrible
with the pool
dive.
below being 16 feet. The pool was also for non-jumpers, some of which were unaware of the cliffs, which resulted in collisions. There was only one lifeguard on duty, who had to work extra hard to make sure that no one was at the bottom of the pool.
One lifeguard for like 3 base jumping sections? That's fucking stupid. I've gone base jumping. I've gone cliff jumping. Not at a water park, mind you. And I've gone diving. I've gone face first diving like that kid did. And, well, with a better dive because I'm actually a good diver. Eat shit, kid. But, like, there's no lifeguards out there. And even then, it's like people usually scout out the area to make sure there's not going to be anybody that's just fucking dead. Only one drowning allowed at a time, please? Yes, please. Although, hey, chat, do you want to hear a story about a family member? No, I wouldn't say a family member. This was the story my dad told me as a kid. We used to spend time at my grandparents' lake house. His parents, my grandparents, up in Tennessee. And there was a location that he decided to take us to one time when we were like young teenagers. We'll go with that. Young teens, I'm pretty sure is where we were. And he showed us an old rope hanging from a tree. That rope was tied to the tree branch under it. And he told us that this was the tree that him and his friends used to come to when they would come visit as kids and teenagers, and they would go rope jumping off of this. They had a friend, I'm trying to remember what his name was. I don't remember. I don't think he maybe didn't tell me the name, but they had a friend who went off that rope swing at some point, hit the water, and never came up. He told me that story once and then would not tell me any additional details afterwards. He did not tell me anything about an investigation. They never said anything about them finding him. To this day, as far as I know, that boy was never found. Dad lore goes hard, right? Dad lore goes hard. Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, thanks for the story, Dad. That's pretty neat. Did you kill him? Dad lore goes so hard. Yep. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to this. Sorry for the coughing.
super speed water slides, also known as Geronimo
But yeah,
Falls, were a pair of
there
high-speed
you go. You
vertical
get
water
ringleader
slides.
dad
One
lore.
of them was steeper than the other, and both were dangerous.
I'm cooler than him though,
One of
so
these
don't
was
you
the
forget it.
Sabre Kamikaze,
He's an
which
ass.
was a more traditional tube slide. The kayak experience
Paralyzed
was
the way
pretty
sound as a teen?
self-explanatory. It
Yep.
used underwater fans to simulate water rapids. This was dangerous. But
Oh,
that
I
goes
remember
without
this
saying at
accident.
point. A similar ride, the Roarin' Rapids, allowed guests to ride in a 1 or 2 person raft down a similar river.
Stop
The
getting
Surf
out of
Hill
the
had a
raft,
slide down a
dude.
multi-laned, multi-hill slide on a mat. Riders
Dude,
could
the
easily
guy
cross
gets
over
out of
to
that
the
raft
adjacent lanes and
twice
cause
in that one
collisions.
clip.
And the 7th hill, nicknamed the Backbreaker, had an additional hump that would send riders flying, resulting in injury.
Oh, that's so cool.
The Colorado River Ride was another raft ride, this
Oh,
time
that's
allowing
so
up
cool.
to 4 people, and it went through the wooded area of the park. At one point,
Okay.
the riders would come to a fork in the river and had to choose between 2 paths. The first path took guests under a waterfall and a series of tunnels. The second path included a waterfall and another fork, with one path being steeper than the other. The ride also included a foot-tall jump that would allow riders and their raft a short airtime. The Aerodonium was a skydiving simulator that caused injuries when guests would try to stop their falls with their arms. Waterworld also had a variety of other typical water slides and pools that were less notable, but there's one in particular that has yet to be mentioned. This is the attraction that made Action Park the most infamous, the Cannonball Loop. A tubed water slide with a vertical loop similar to that
I
of a
remember
roller
this
coaster.
one. This
It
thing
rumored
was
that during
never
the
meant to
testing of the
work.
attraction, Mulvihill offered $100 to employees who were willing to try it. Test
It was never gonna work.
Came out of the loop without their heads. When it was open, guests would be weighed, hosed down, and given a set of instructions to decrease the possibility of injury. A hatch was added to the top of the loop to assist stuck riders that could not make it all the way through the slide.
Okay.
Many guests that completed the loop would come out at the bottom, suffering from bloody noses or other injuries, either from hitting the top of the loop or the impact on the way down. The Cannonball Loop was indicative of a larger issue with Action Park, as many of the other attractions were poorly crafted by designers that were less than engineers, and most were designed to minimize cost rather than maximize safety. The rides became even more dangerous when paired with the fact that the park sold alcohol at many of the
Ride the
convenience
Backbreaker, you
stands,
can't handle
often to
these humps?
minors. There was
Jesus.
even a microbrewery near Motorworld. Many of the guests visiting the inexpensive park came from
Microbrewery.
low-income areas and did not have the necessary swimming skills to
See, there it
navigate
is.
some of the attractions and pools. Action Park also
There's
heavily
the
marketed
low-income
Spanish
areas and
population,
low swimming
but there
skills.
Were no translations or
Go learn to
translators for the
swim.
guests
If you
when they
don't know how to
visited.
swim,
So
you should
explaining
learn.
safety
It's a
instructions
survival
was
skill.
virtually
You're gonna need it.
You already know that Action Park
The
is
planet
most
is 70%
innovative and
water.
exciting rides. The
Don't you
Alpine
fucking forget
Fly,
that.
Grand Prix race cars, and spectacular water rides. But Action Park means more than just great rides. It means super live shows, fantastic summer festivals, and scrumptious food and drink, including an authentic German brewery. Come to Action Park because
Authentic German brewery. Are you sure? Are you sure that barrel isn't just full of like Budweiser?
The majority of those
Sing,
employees
spell
were
rip,
teenagers
Stevie.
and were not equipped to handle the
No,
rowdy
I'm
guests
just
of the
drowned.
park.
All right,
So on
Gunslinger,
any
you'll be
given day,
remembered.
You could have an overcrowded water park filled with drunk teenagers that couldn't swim, riding shoddily built attractions supervised by teenagers that may or may not be able to communicate with them. It is no wonder what happened
That's
next.
insane. That's insane. Oh, hey. Oh, my favorite part.
On July 8th, 1980,
Everybody's favorite part of going to the amusement park, the death.
Slide when his cart went off the track. He hit his head on a rock during the crash, killing him. He was only 19. 2 years later, on July 24th, 1982, a 15-year-old guest was overcome by the waves of the tidal wave pool.
I got
and
rocks for
drowned.
bones, it just
On
doesn't
August
work.
1st, a mere week later,
You're prone to sinking.
The 27-year-old guest was riding the
Rapid
kayak
sinking.
experience when he was trying to re-enter his
Okay.
kayak after falling out. When doing this, he made contact with the live wiring that powered the underwater fans.
Yeah.
The electrocution sent him into cardiac arrest, and he passed after being
Why
rushed
was
to
the live
hospital.
wire
2 years later, in
exposed?
1984, a guest died on the Tarzan swing after a heart attack, supposedly due to the unexpected shock from the cold water. That same year, on August 27th,
Why was the person so fragile that they could have a heart attack from cold water going on a Tarzan swing? That shit's insane. That shit's insane.
a 20-year-old drowned in the tidal wave pool, and on July 19th, 1987, another guest drowned there, giving it the nickname the Grave Pool. These deaths are tragic,
Unexpected.
and often overshadowed by the lunacy and legacy of Action Park. Interestingly
Yes,
enough,
lunacy
Action
is
Park was
definitely a
able
word to
avoid
use for
many
it.
lawsuits with these deaths and many other injuries, due in part
Thermal
to its
shock is a
reputation,
bitch,
and also
but,
the lax
like,
regulations New Jersey had for amusement.
You'd
and
have
water
to be
parks.
like elderly
Marina
and have
Corporation was
pre-existing
even able to
conditions for it to
expand
send
the
you into
Action Park
cardiac
brand to
arrest.
Other parts of the country, opening Pocono Action Park in Tannersville, Pennsylvania in 1980, and Action Mountain in Pine Hill, New Jersey in 1984.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Action Mountain.
Action Mountain.
You zoom through the black hole. Spin and splash splash on our bumper boats, while the kids play in our fun-filled kiddie area.
Oh no.
Swimming pool, while the kids play.
They made a pool and then covered the whole thing with plastic balls. How many kids do you think died in that pool? How many kids do you think died in that pool? And the ad looked like they got hurt? Probably. 7? More than 1? I don't know, but that sounds like a death trap. How you going to see a kid drowning at the bottom of the pool? Because sometimes you don't actually see them go under. You just see them at the bottom of the pool. So, you know, crazy shit. Crazy, stupid shit.
Play in our fun-filled kiddie area. Cool off in our huge.
That just looks like it hurts to jump into. Jumping into just mounds of plastic balls. Get wet. What kind of wet? Is it blood?
It's awesome.
Pocono Action Park had many repeat attractions as Action Park, and was
what
closed
the
in
fuck is that
1991.
ticket?
Action Mountain ran into some financial difficulties with the IRS and the town it was located in, and was closed in 1986.
The IRS and the town it was located in? It wasn't paying its
While
fucking
Action Park
bills.
and Mulvihill were able to avoid lawsuits with many of the accidents and deaths. The 2 deaths in 1984
Still
stemmed from cases that
inconclusive.
rightfully plagued the
I don't
park
know.
with a
That
variety
person's
of
dead.
legal
That sounds
problems.
pretty conclusive.
Mulvihill eventually pled guilty to 5 charges of insurance fraud. He and his associates claimed that the park saw over 1 million guests a year, and therefore the death toll was comparatively low.
5 charges
The local ER,
of
on the other hand,
insurance
said that
fraud?
They would have to treat
How?
5 to 10 guests on some days. In response to the high amount of guests visiting the hospital, Action Park bought Vernon, New Jersey, new ambulances. Despite all of these issues,
Wait,
the downfall of Action Park went
wait.
for 5 to 10, therefore the death toll was comparatively low. The local ER, on the other hand, said that they would have to treat 5 to 10 guests on some days. In response to the high amount of
5
guests
to
visiting
10
the hospital,
guests?
Action Park bought Vernon, New Jersey, new ambulances. Despite all of these issues,
Cool,
the downfall of
but
Action Park
also,
wouldn't come until 1996.
what the fuck?
And it was actually due to Great American
Hi
Recreation.
guys, we're sorry you
financial
keep having
issues
to
and
bring
not the park
ambulances
itself.
here to come
On
pick up our
September 2nd,
guests.
1996,
So we're gonna buy
Action
you
Park
new
ended
ones.
its
That's
final
totally not
season,
indicative
still
of an
with the hope that it
underlying
would reopen
problem.
the next year. However,
Totally.
Great American Recreation
Totally.
bankruptcy made it impossible for Action Park to continue operations, so it didn't reopen. After this, the ski resort and Action Park were handed from investor to investor, undergoing renovations for 2 years before
Mountain
reopening
Creek
in
Water Park.
1998 as Mountain Creek. Safety was a priority under this management, and a valiant effort was put forth to distance Mountain Creek from Action Park's reputation.
Okay.
However, in 2010, Mountain Creek underwent a bankruptcy of its own, and the water
rip.
park and ski resort was sold to the Mulvihill family. 2
No.
years after this, in 2012, Eugene Mulvihill passed away, and his son Andrew Mulvihill took over ownership of the park.
And this
2
is the
years
one that we
later,
saw
in
at the beginning, I
2014,
think.
Mountain Creek was rebranded back to Action Park. The park reopened many of its
no,
classic
you don't know what
attractions
you've
and started
done.
construction on new, terrifying ones. The Sky Caliber was another attempt at a 360-degree vertically
I'm
looping
pretty
water
sure I've been
slide,
on a
although it
coaster
used
like this
technology
one.
to enhance
Not a coaster,
safety.
sorry.
From my
Not
knowledge,
roller
it is yet
coaster.
to
Roller
open at the
coasters are
park,
easy.
And there's almost no information on its status. The new Action Park
Okay, no,
tried to
they
use
didn't have
nostalgia
things
to
like
draw
that.
guests
I'm
back
pretty
for
sure
2
I've been on a
years, before in
loop-to-loop water
2016,
slide.
It was renamed back
But I
to
was
Mountain
lucky
Creek
and had enough
in order to
momentum
once
that I
again
basically
get
just
away from
stuck to the
negative
top part.
connotation of Action Park.
I
Early
just
this
stuck
year,
to
it
the
was
top
announced that
part of the
Johnny
loop.
Knoxville would be producing, writing, and starring in a film inspired by Action Park, but it was
Where
not
is it,
shot on
Johnny?
location. Death is heartbreaking.
Where is it, Johnny?
Especially in environments designed
Where's
for
the movie
happiness
about
and joy.
Action Park?
Despite 6 people losing their lives there, Action Park is not remembered for its death toll. It is remembered for and by the kids that grew up with it and survived it. It is seen
That
as a
does look like
place
kind
where
of a
the
cool ride right
quote-unquote
there, I'm not gonna
popular
lie.
And brave teens hung out. The fact that it was referred
Brave
to as
teens.
Traction Park or
This is
Class
the
Action
American
Park doesn't
equivalent of the
matter,
Japanese
because its
test of
inherent
courage.
danger is more of a fond memory to the majority of its visitors. The burns, bruises, and the fractured tibias were a rite of passage. for its
Tibias?
former guests.
Jesus.
You think you're cool because you survived a tame roller coaster at Disney in California or at Universal in Florida? Well, welcome to Vernon, New Jersey. Were you able to survive Action Park?
Christ. No, don't bring back the name. Yep. All right. On Defunctland podcast. Oh, I forgot Defunctland originally started as a podcast. I am not going to lie. All right. Hey, chat. Want to learn about the Hard Rock Cafe that used to be in Orlando? We learned previously, we learned a long time ago that there actually used to be a Hard Rock amusement park. Does anybody remember that? Does anybody remember learning about the Hard Rock amusement park? It's abandoned now, completely abandoned. You can actually go explore it. It's in the middle of the fucking desert. You gotta be brave to go to Action Park. That's true. That's probably true. I can't get over the fucking, let me see really quick. We'll probably find a picture if I just search Action Park images. Not this water slide. Where's the, like, here's the new ones. Even then, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like the 10, 15 foot drop out the ends of the fucking water slide. Because there was the old ones that just look like blue tubes. But even then, this does not look better. Is the Hard Rock Park in Nevada? Because I think I've driven past it a few times. Probably. I don't remember exactly. Like I said, it's abandoned and I don't remember the location. But this is something else that the Hard Rock Company, has tried. Also, fun fact. Hard Rock actually has... Hard Rock's a little close to my heart in its own way. Because Hard Rock, the Hard Rock Cafe in New York Times Square was actually the first time I ever met a trans woman in person. Her name was Tyler, and she was our waitress. She was delightful. I still think of her. One dinner in New York, and I think of Tyler almost every day. Thanks, Tyler. Driven past it a few times. Yeah. Anyway, Hard Rock. Now, this is marked as abandoned history of Universal's Hard Rock Cafe. And if anybody knows anything about Hard Rock has a hard time with goddamn near anything.
Restaurants come in all shapes and sizes. From
Captions.
forests to
Those are
chocolate
important.
factories. If you can think of a themed experience,
Wait, what the fuck was that?
There has likely been a restaurant that.
What was that
offered it.
robot thing?
An industry that took off making millions in the 80s and 90s.
Yo, why
but
is Spider-Man
slowly
so
over the
huge?
decades had lost their charm and became extinct. It's time to join a brand new expedition
New York.
series, starting with what is often considered
Remastered
the first
lore? Yeah, we got
chain
lore dropping
restaurant.
all day,
The
baby.
messy history
All day.
of Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a
and the
steampunk
one
cafe.
Hard
Does
Rock
anybody know anything
Cafe
about that?
restaurant that sat abandoned for longer than it operated.
Peter been hitting the gym. Yeah. Sat abandoned longer than it operated? Jesus. So Spider-Man was yoked. Was that Elvis? I'm pretty sure that was Elvis. I mean, I guess this counts as restaurants, but I think it also counts as an amusement park. Bum, 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 bum. Ooh! Stairway to dinner shows?
Robert Earl's first venture into restaurants.
Chat, I need that spaghetti. I need that spaghetti and those massive meatballs in my fucking mouth. Right now. Right now!
Would be in
I need another restaurant that just gives obscene levels of
by the
pasta.
Tower and located on St. Catherine's Dock, directly next to the Tower of London.
Oh.
He aimed to make a place that would feed not just locals, but entice tourists to come on their trips to see one of London's most iconic places. While many restaurants would hate the thought of tons of tourists pulling up for a dinner, that was what Earl wanted to embrace, and so did the Beef Eater. Built in the basement vaults,
So
he
did the
created his
Beef
first
Eater,
dinner
as in
experience for tourists.
The guards?
This restaurant would be a medieval-style feast with jugglers, acrobats, and musicians.
Oh no, is this
performing while
medieval
the audience
times?
enjoyed a meal fit for a king.
Has anybody
In
ever
fact,
been to
an
medieval
actor
times?
actually played Henry
I've never been to
VIII
medieval
and would
times.
lord over
I'd like
the
to go
meal.
someday with friends.
This would
I don't
be
want to go
his
by
first
myself.
venture that would bring together food, show,
Because I'm going to need somebody there to laugh at it with me.
Success. While most restaurants have one
I need
good
those
sit
massive
in a
meanballs
night,
in my mouth. Yes, I
themed
do.
Tourist restaurants
Yes,
could
I
have
do. Is anybody going to
multiple
quote that?
throughout the day.
Harry's not paying
Quickly,
attention.
he would
She's not
expand
gonna
with
quote
further restaurants, including his first solo venture at the age of 26.
Hi, weird
Shakespeare's
Shakespeare.
Tavern under the Arches at Blackfriars, which would be another medieval banquet-style restaurant.
Can the owner of the black Toyota come? Your car's on fire. I'm busy! I'm just poking fun, Carrie. I'm just poking fun. Because that's so fucking funny to me for some reason. Just from... Carrie's been missing along 12. Oh, you did say 12. I'm busy! That's
where
so
he had
fucking
scrounged
funny to
together
me.
the money
Unfortunately,
to
only
make it
mods
a
can do the quote
success.
things.
Again,
Only mods
it
can
was,
add
and was
quotes.
often sold out. Further additional restaurants came, and eventually
Only
he
mods
had
can
over
add
70
quotes.
restaurants under his company in London. In 1977, Robert Earl would create President's Entertainment, a
President
company devoted
Entertainment.
to themed
I hate that.
restaurants. During the 70s, the Walt Disney Company had contacted Robert Earl.
God damn it, Ordain. No, not my Snickers dick vein.
Inside his upcoming Epcot Center. A deal wasn't made, but it got Robert Earl thinking about
not
the potential
plastic
that Orlando
sousaphones.
would have with tourist attractions in the
Those
future.
aren't the same. They sound terrible in comparison. Sir, those are French fries. You can't fuck up French fries. It's really hard to fuck up French fries. Smells like Orlando Spirit. Oh no, these are all going to be song references.
Along with his wife and 2 daughters, Robert Earl would make the move to Florida. His first project in Orlando would open in 1983, taking much of what he had created in London and bringing it to the upcoming tourism capital. Shakespeare's Tavern on Church Street would invite visitors to dine while costumed English actors entertained. Further themed entertainment offerings in the area
English
would
actors?
follow.
They bring
The
English
original
people over, or were these
Shakespeare's
Americans
Tavern on
pretending
Church
to be
Street would get
English?
a sequel of sorts when the company would open King Henry's Feast a few years later on International Drive. They would also begin purchasing
Is King Henry really the person you want to theme your whole thing around? Are you certain? Are you certain King Henry is in fact, the British monarch that you want to theme your restaurants around? Is it because he was fat? Is that the reason? Is that the only reason? Is it because he was notoriously fat? Be honest with me, Hard Rock. President's Entertainment, if you will. That's probably the reason. Yeah, that's probably the reason. Maybe they'll laugh their heads off. Anyway.
popular restaurants in the Orlando area until they
Only
were
when schools
operating
teach us in the
an
US.
empire of restaurants.
No, we learned about
once
King
again.
Louis.
Further dining shows followed, with the likes of
14th?
Wild Bill's Wild West show,
Question mark?
Caruso's on International
I
Drive,
forget which number.
and the Royal Orleans restaurant with the adjacent Mardi Gras Dinner Theater. Dinner shows in Orlando were booming. Any kind you could think of was coming to
Clowns.
the area. In the late 80s, Robert Earl was asked if he worried that the ever-increasing expanding Disney
do they think
World
Mardi
would
Gras
hurt
is
his
about clowns?
business. He said that he only needed 3,000 of the millions coming to visit Orlando
Be
to
kinda
dine
cool.
at his experiences to be a success.
I think
And
we
that
need more
wasn't
clowns in our
very
daily
many
life.
In the grand scheme of things.
We need more
A study
whimsical
had
and
already
or
confirmed that
terrifying
when
clowns.
Epcot Center
I want every
opened,
kind of clown.
It had only boosted the tourism
Except John Wayne
industry
Gacy. No,
around
no,
the
no,
area,
no John Wayne
not
Gacy.
taken away from it. In 1987, Robert Earl would merge his company,
Louis was
President
French? Was he?
Entertainment,
I don't
with
think he
Pleasurama PLC, a
Was he?
hotel and casino
No.
company.
Oh, he
They
was.
would
You're right.
purchase
Never mind.
the
That's the French
company
Revolution.
for
Never mind. You're right.
$64.8 million,
You're right.
And Robert Earl would become chief executive president of American Operations, which would be based in Orlando,
Hold on a second.
Florida. Along with this, it would give him full reign to develop new ideas.
Why do I
in
have
the
so many
area.
notifications?
By this point, Robert Earl had been nicknamed the Dinner Attraction King of Orlando.
The
and
Dinner
newly
Attraction
formed
King?
merged
Oh,
British company
please.
was poised to make more US acquisitions and expansions as soon as possible and have millions of dollars to play with. Rumors began that he would be building something big in Orlando, along with maybe even buying Church Street Station, before taking what he had been built here as a blueprint to other cities.
Yeah, Henry probably was the one that we talked about the most in U.S. history. Well, in U.S. history lessons, in American history lessons, Henry's probably the only one that gets mentioned. Maybe
The first
some
Hard Rock
reference to
Cafe
William.
opened in June 1971.
William the
at
Conqueror.
150 Old Park Lane, London.
I need
Formed
clowns
from
in
the
chat.
fact That its founders
Chat,
were on
give me your
vacation
clowns.
in London.
I need your
and They
clowns.
could not find a decent hamburger. It was a place that was born to bring the rock and roll movement of America to the UK. Bright and brash, and everything
Okay.
that the British way of life saw as a new way during the late 60s. Created in partnership between Isaac Tigret and Peter Morton.
Marin's
it
taking her
wouldn't be until
clowns.
a
More
decade
clowns. Give me your
later
clowns.
that
I'm
Hard
taking
Rock
them.
Cafe
They're
would come
mine
to
now.
the USA,
Sunstar, give
paving
me
the
your
way
clown.
for it to become the first themed restaurant
Wow, that's a lot of
chain in
clowns.
the world.
Holy shit.
The Hard Rock.
That is a
in
lot of
London
clowns.
became
Jesus.
This mecca, and it's
Are you
important
okay?
to understand that you do not exploit culture. You have to earn the right to represent it, and that's what we spent.
You have
the
to
first
earn the right to
15
represent
years
it? I
really
didn't.
doing. We were courting the entire industry. We were backstage, or we were.
Marin taking
at the
Clown Marin?
recording
She's mine.
studio. We collected all of their.
Clown Marin is always mine.
Their gold records, their guitars, and so forth and
But
so
all the
on.
6
But
subs
people
I have
would come in
zero
to see them.
clown
I think the most
emotes.
exciting
Really? I'm
moment
surprised
of
out of
my career.
110
The
emotes.
first guitar I got, which was given to me by
Maya
Eric
only
Clapton,
doesn't have a single
and
clown
we put it up on the
emote.
wall, and it was because the music industry.
Is there a honk one? Does she have a honk one?
The whole music industry that I've taken this guitar and put it up on the wall. No one ever seen something like that before.
With a large push of marketing.
Wait, no one ever seen somebody put a guitar on the wall? What?
Never seen before. An emphasis was
Yo,
put on
wait, I like Hard Rock Santa down there. Wait, that looks sick.
To spread influence and
that looks
word
sick.
of mouth about the restaurant, as well, of course, as earn them more money. In reality, the rock memorabilia collecting of Hard Rock Cafe did not really begin until the restaurant in the USA opened.
I was gonna say, yeah, I do remember the New York one actually had a car inside of it. I don't remember if it was Elvis's car, if it was somebody else's car, but they had a car. They had an old car inside the New York Hard Rock. Bruce Kulick? I can't get no Hard Rock satisfaction. Christ.
The partnership before the founders had come to an end when they had a
falling out. This is going to be where they overspan their entire operation
between them. Isaac Tigres would get the rights to Hard Rock in the US states east of the Mississippi, along with Europe and the original location in London, while Morton had the rights to the name in the West, Hawaii, Australia, and Brazil. During an interview, Tigres claimed
I feel like Hawaii would be very, what's the word?
And that they wanted
patronizing
so they could go about business.
Putting one in Hawaii would be patronizing.
The first USA restaurant opened in 1982
as
Hard Rock Los Angeles, with financial help from investors, including director Steven Spielberg, Henry Winkler, and Willie
hold on
Nelson.
a second.
Hard Rock Cafe Los Angeles.
This just reminded me. Have any of y'all heard of the one McDonald's that is like full of Rockstar memorabilia? And still has an automated piano player? They still have the, if I remember correctly, the Mac Tonight automated animatronic piano player. And I stumbled upon it once by accident while on vacation. We were traveling to go to vacation and my uncle wanted to stop to get something to eat and go to the bathroom. And we go into this McDonald's and it has a motorcycle over the door. I mean, there's like a platform up and over the top of the door. There's a motorcycle on it. There's memorabilia like all over the walls, from tickets to like records to just random things. And in the corner was a Mac Tonight animatronic. I don't remember if it worked. I don't think it did. I don't think it played while we were there. It's been closed and converted to a museum. Interesting. Lover Dogs, welcome in. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? How was Overwatch 2? Who do you typically play? Were you playing ranked? Were you playing classic? Were you doing arcade? I think that's all my questions. Hope you had a good stream. If you need to do any post-stream stuff, I totally understand. If you need to hit the bathroom, get some food, do any of that jazz, it is totally understandable. But welcome in, guys. We're currently learning about Hard Rock Cafe. And eventually it's supposed to focus in on specifically the abandoned history of the Universal Park Hard Rock Cafe that apparently sat abandoned longer than it sat functioning. Sorry, there's someone driving by. It sounded like a motorcycle. All right.
Los Angeles was an instant
Rin, what are you staring at?
Both the founders began to make
their own Hard Rock
Cafe separately in the areas they had the rights.
The
Peter
sliders.
Morton would operate his company under the name Hard Rock America. Tigres continued his work under the company Hard Rock International.
Okay.
Each were in charge of their separate locations, using the one brand now shared between them. Either way, both were a huge success, and both companies' profits were now in the millions per year.
You're doing wheelies? Why are you doing wheelies? You can't drive.
There's
a Hard Rock Pyramid?
Mostly stayed hassle-free until Tigres wanted out.
Where's the Hard Rock Pyramid?
Negotiating a sale of his side back to Morton. During the summer of 1986, though,
what was up with the Chinese clothes?
And its president Robert Earl would pay $63 million, purchasing Isaac Tigres part of the Hard Rock Cafe business, Hard Rock International, and stopping the reunification
You look like you're stressing.
of Hard Rock Cafe and pulling it right out of the hands of Peter Morton.
Oh? Well, I don't know about pulling it right out of his hands. I mean, he had to sell it and sign the paperwork. Whole lot of Earl.
At that very same time, Pleasurama was fighting a takeover from Mecca Leisure, and soon after
Mecca Leisure and Pleasurama. These aren't real names. You made these up for the video.
By the sale,
Mr. Perjurer.
Just lost out on buying the other half of the company for himself. Robert Earl and Peter Morton would become big
I'm also
rivals.
not liking these flashes. They're starting to hurt my
The first time
eyes.
they met, Morton refused to shake hands with Earl.
Leisure sounds like a sex club for mechs. I read Mecca and I was like,
parenting anymore.
Mecca is in like the pilgrim site?
The two enemies set out to build out
Islamic pilgrim site? I was like, no, wait, Mecca Leisure.
Mecca Entertainment would eventually take over Pleasurama in October 1988 and half of the Hard Rock name. They decided after some debate to keep the Hard Rock business.
You keep trying, Sunstar. You keep trying.
To sell it, and they decided to only sell some assets
Jesus
of the purchase
Christ, what am I
in the
looking
USA, such as the Waterculture USA Water Park in Williamsburg. They continued to reject bids from Peter Morton to buy the other side of the Hard Rock name. They were starting
Pleasurama is what I'll name the cabaret parlor that I will never open. Hey, you can dream about it.
And they would keep
you can do it.
Earl in charge.
I'm sure you could do it.
The whole situation
just like I can someday open a cafe.
Messy, and Hard Rock
I
want to
open a cafe.
Now with half in charge by Robert
a really
Earl,
spiffy,
and his
pretty
big plans
cafe.
to expand into Orlando was now set. The biggest restaurant they had ever yet built. Robert Earl would take his experience of restaurants in the Orlando area,
boom. Okay.
the Hard Rock name,
Why
and create
boom?
an iconic brand new restaurant at the upcoming Universal Studios Florida theme park.
You have not seen anything yet.
Who are you, white man? God, I love hearing these guitar riffs.
In March
I would open a drive-in movie theater. That'd be awesome. So many of them have been shutting down,
the next Hard Rock
which really
Cafe.
sucks.
Robert Earl, president of Hard Rock and of Mecca Leisure USA,
Trip to visit the bar and cafe.
7 cafes, said he would spend $5 million on the very first built from the ground
It's
up
the Bates.
Hard
It's
Rock
the Bates
restaurant.
house.
Robert Earl said it would add new meaning.
Also, hold on a second. Chat, does some of y'all not remember what I told y'all like my eventual like ultimate dream is? If someday, if I ever have more money than I know what to do with, and I don't have to be concerned about making a profit from like a cafe or a restaurant, is I want to open an old style cafe. One where there's no to-go orders. It's you only come in when you have time to sit down, drink, and enjoy a conversation and some coffee. And I want to make it all spiffy. I'm going to make it like a lot of pretty wood and stuff. Oh, I can picture it. I just can't think of what the style is called. Based, to be honest. Yeah. Can I get a cappuccino to go? We only do coffee straight. And you have to come sit down. There will be no to-go cups. Marin Maid Cafe? No. Absolutely not. No, you're going to get more of like the bartender outfits. You're going to get, I'll wear like a suit. I'll wear like a 3-piece suit. Can I be a maid in the Marin Maid Cafe? No. It's actually going to be a butler cafe. Joke's on you. Isn't that cottagecore? Yes. Pretty close to cottagecore. Cottagecore is probably a good example to start with. Do you have anything besides coffee or can I sit and chat? You can sit and chat. I would probably add more things to the menu. Like I'd probably bake and stuff. I'd like to bake. I'll probably have cookies. Maybe make some cakes, like some coffee cake. I can make coffee cakes. Ooh, with crumble on top. You serve booze? How much you willing to pay? How much you willing to pay? What's she looking for? I got some whiskey. I got some, what do you call it? Got some Irish cream. Got some Baileys. That's what I was thinking of. It's Baileys. That's Irish cream. Not even auto signed up to work at the Carnival Cafe. Sunstar, you're working the security room. Of course you're auto signed up. You serve curry? Listen, this is not Persona. This is not Persona. We serve jambalaya. Hi, Stone. How are you doing? I have more money than I need, then I'll be getting a cabin with a sauna close to a lake on a piece of land I would own. Hell yeah. Just don't do it in the US because you don't actually own it. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere where property taxes aren't continuous.
To evening
Thanks,
entertainment
US.
in Florida.
Thanks,
and
US.
would not be like anything seen before by the company. All previous Hard Rock cafes had been
Okay, you're
retrofitted
only here because you're
into
financially
existing
independent.
buildings.
Correct.
Here, they would let their
Well, I mean, you still have to like pay
imaginations
for it, but that's the
run
thing is,
The Hard Rock
here,
Cafe.
that's the thing though, is the expectation is that you would still be paying for it. Like food and coffee aren't going to be free, but the reason I think this would be the idea that I want it as is basically that I'm not like financially reliant on the company, on like the cafe, so I don't have to do like heinous business practices, that I can just have a cafe and do with it as I want and not have to put up with people. You live in Finland? Hell yeah. Go get him, champ. Go fucking get him.
At Universal Studios Florida. would be unique.
You could probably
It
find
would
some
feature
decent
two
land
separate
closer to the
entrances, one
coast.
inside Universal Studios and one outside. That way, not only could those visiting the park come in and dine,
the
but
guitar
also those who
shape
didn't
is
want
very
to pay
interesting.
park admission. Robert Earl and Universal Studios.
The guitar
had
shape
signed a
and then a
26-year
colonial
ground
like
lease for the new
building style
restaurant,
is very
making the
weird.
location good up until 2015.
Weird combination.
And they were hopeful, along with MCA, owners
What do you-
of
ooh,
Universal, that it could become the top grossing
I see.
restaurant in the whole chain. Originally slated to open in
Old
December
Jahuases.
1989,
Old
the delayed
Jahuases.
500-seat Hard Rock Cafe began construction in October and was set now to open on March 17th, 1990. The world's biggest Hard Rock Cafe
Okay,
will be
fixed.
4 times the size of the original in
Fixed.
London.
Easy
Robert Earl
peasy,
was
baby.
given the choice of building his restaurant either inside the new park.
If I become a billionaire,
or
what could go
outside.
wrong?
They had
Ren.
chosen both, with an
Ren.
entrance for those enjoying the park that could leave with a hand stamp to enjoy dining and then return. The other side would
Fucking
be
dorks,
open
then,
from
sorry.
a parking lot that would be able to be visited without paying the $30 admission price for a park
I
ticket.
swear I've seen another
This
building that looks
unique
exactly
restaurant
like this
rebuilt
in
the
Pigeon
shape
Forge,
of an
Tennessee.
electric guitar lying on its back. A
I just-
300-foot bridge connected it to its parking lot. This would be seen as the guitar's neck. The whole restaurant was built on a raised platform, with 2 roads located below it. The roof of the
Roads?
bridge would feature lights that
You could
would give
actually
the
drive
illusion of
under
guitar
it?
strings.
That doesn't sound like a
Both
good idea.
entrances would feature an engraving, the Kingdom of Rock, and a 1950
Okay, those don't look like
Cadillac
roads down there. That
appeared
looks
to
like
have crashed
another
through the
bar
building.
or something.
The 23,000 square foot restaurant on 3 stories. 2 for
Intruded?
guest
No, that
dining
makes
and
sense.
1 for the kitchens and offices, was a granite and limestone Renaissance revival style building that rise 65 feet into the air. John McCann, chief designer of the restaurant chain, said that most Hard Rocks are rehabs of existing buildings. This is the first one
So
from the ground
they
up,
decided to
and we
build
went
it to make it
all
look
out.
old?
The guitar design was chosen as they wanted something to outshine Universal Studios, and they were
I
curious
do kind of like that
if
it's
it
like
would be
right
more
next to the
popular with
Bates house.
tourists
That's
or
kind of fun.
locals. Robert Earl stated that Orlando
Remember kids'
was
drugs give
ready
you
for Hard
superpowers?
Rock.
No. Hey,
He even
Beetlejuice.
said that Disney World was looked up as a location, but wasn't sexy enough for the brand. During 1989,
What do you mean
Robert
sexy
Earl was
enough for the
chosen to give
brand?
a key to the city of Orlando to Elton John before his performance at the Orlando Arena. It was said that in return, John would give
What is he
Earl
wearing?
an item of his own choosing
Hi, Don.
that is expected to be Hard Rock
Do you hear
Orlando's
self-name? Went,
first
I wonder what this
rock
person's
memento.
doing. I sadly
The
can't
new
stay long. Got to
restaurant
go to
would
work in
also
under an
be
hour, but I
home
like
to
that. Well,
live
thank you.
performances from popular artists. During the late 80s,
Well, welcome
Hard Rock
in.
Cafe was
Today's a pretty
often
chill
called a
day. Usually we do
nightclub
spookier
rather than a
stuff. And
restaurant.
well, and
The
probably
dining
tomorrow
room
and for the rest of the
featured a
weekend, it's going to be
raised
Monster
circular
Hunter.
plaza with a stage. During
I don't have a problem. You have a
1996,
problem.
Starship with Mickey Thomas would perform at the restaurant. Funnily enough,
Oh, well,
over
I
a
know it's
decade
Donald
later,
Duck.
They would become a theme park staple. And if you're watching this video soon to when it's released, you can catch them next week at SeaWorld. And if you
At
like,
SeaWorld?
pretend you're at the original Hard Rock Cafe. If not,
I don't know.
well,
I
you
don't think I
missed them.
trust bands
But
that
don't
are
worry,
performing
they'll
at
be back
amusement
a theme
parks
park soon.
or on cruise
They
ships.
always are. The outside of the restaurant included
Well,
a record-shaped,
technically Elton
open-air
John did
plaza
perform it
that
at
could be used for live
Universal.
performances as well. The message on the floor here said whole lot of shaking.
Electric guitar is like a
going on.
31st
The
century
elaborately
writers
themed
writing the
restaurant would
20th
feature
century.
25-foot stained glass windows bearing the likeness
That's
of
Elvis.
Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Chuck Berry. During
Chuck
a special
Berry.
opening
Okay, I like
VIP
that.
Gala preview bash on June 5th, 1990.
I like the Chuck Berry.
would
I
headline
can
the
respect
event.
that.
The restaurant's grand opening was actually delayed to July 7th,
Also, hold on a second. I gotta cough
1990,
and drink
the very
swa-
same day that Universal Studios Florida would officially open. The interior of the restaurant would also have a red cherry wood and leather bar in the shape of a guitar, a Ted Rothstein custom
Hell
stereo
yeah,
system
cherry
with
wood bar
244
sold.
speakers, the Rock and Roll Heaven illuminated hand-painted dome.
Do you think
and a
people
vast
tried to
array
steal any of the memorabilia
curated
out of
by
Hard Rock
Steve
cafes
Ruffier.
before?
The 500 displays,
Out of
more than
curiosity.
any other Hard Rock, included suits worn by the Beatles.
Y'all ever think
Elvis's
that there's people that are such
1926
crazy
Gibson
fans that they're like,
guitar
I know
and a
there's
suit of
memorabilia at the
his,
Hard Rock
Bob
Cafe.
Dylan's
I
manuscript
could just
for the
take
song
it.
I Want You. The restaurant would also include movie memorabilia, such as Marilyn Monroe's dress worn in Bus Stop. You know what? It would take me all day to list all the memorabilia in the restaurant at
Oh, I'm
opening.
sure it fucking
One
would. Look
major
at that shit.
display was an area dedicated to the TV show Leave It to the Beaver. It
Yes,
was
me?
also
Sorry,
said
that was a
the
lie.
rock and roll memorabilia on display would rotate
What
around the
memorabilia
world
would
as
you
new
steal?
updated versions would come in often. What they had built and designed for Hard Rock Orlando would essentially become a blueprint for multiple Hard Rock cafes that would open later.
Oh,
Of
it's a
course,
shame it
there was
failed.
also the classic Hard Rock food. including burgers, barbecue chicken ribs, and more.
I don't actually remember what I ate at that Hard Rock Cafe. I only remember Tyler.
Which was now making up 50% of Hard Rock Cafe's annual
Weirdly
revenue.
enough, Izzy kind of reminds me of Tyler,
too.
too.
Here featured bricks from the original Cavern Club in Liverpool.
Tyler looked like a blonde version of Izzy. Good song. Bum, 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 bum.
Hard Rock Cafe Orlando was an instant
Damn it, I was getting
success.
into it.
One of the most memorable dining part at the new Universal Studios.
Ren,
seen as an
you fucking
icon.
dork.
A restaurant that would literally
I actually found out
be
where
the
the emote came from, the face that she makes, and it's from a dude failing to swim in an anime.
Design forever.
I actually
Along
saw
with
that
being
recently.
the most successful Hard Rock Cafe ever made, and the highest profit restaurant.
A delinquent and not break the stuff they were carrying. I wouldn't doubt
Rank
it.
Leisure USA would purchase Mecca and take over Hard Rock International, keeping Robert Earl
Egg.
as CEO. This Orlando restaurant will remain a staple
All right, chat.
of Universal
Every single
Studios
one of you is
Florida
perfectly
in the
all
early
right
years.
to stab
After just
Delvin.
8 years,
Get your knives.
1998 would mark the final
Bourdain,
year for the entrance
get your
to
knives.
the original Hard Rock Cafe location
You have a target.
from inside the park, and the pathway was closed permanently in December. The $5 million highest-grossing Hard Rock Cafe would close forever, only just a few years
the roof.
after it had opened. By the end of the 90s, Hard Rock Cafe at
I wonder why they
Universal
shut it
was
down. That's
making
probably would have been the most
millions and
successful
millions a
Hard Rock.
year. One of the most successful restaurants in the whole world.
Yeah.
Hard Rock was now a home name brand, and everybody wanted one
Why
of
would
those
you shut
Hard
down
Rock
one that was at
location
an amazing
Shortly
amusement
after
park?
closing, the hand stamp exit to the restaurant within the park was demolished, and Woody Woodpecker's Kid Zone would be added to that park.
Zerk, thank you for doing your season pass.
Hard Rock
Holy
Cafe's
shit,
time at
27
Universal,
months.
though, was not over. A new version of the restaurant, which
Get him,
took
Bourdain,
much
get him, get him, get him.
inspiration from the original, would be coming.
Damn, now that
Universal
Egg's gone,
Orlando
no
would
one
be
else
added
can
City
egg.
Walk, an entertainment district out the front of the park. And this new development would leave the original
Oh my
Hard
God.
Rock
Sorry,
sat in an
Delvin. I
awkward
guess you have to
position
be stabbed
outside
to death
this new
now.
area, and it was deemed it had to be moved.
I'm the weakest show
Hard Rock
enjoyer.
Cafe
What do you
would
mean
move to
weakest
City
show
Walk in
enjoyer?
a brand new building.
Oh no, ad break!
With a full live.
Oh no, ad break. I totally missed the end of the timer. Shit, guys. All right. We'll be back in a couple minutes. I will be back shortly. I will give you all the music. And don't burn anything down and don't let Sunstar get away with anything that he wants. I will see y'all in a couple minutes. Guess what, chuckle fucks? I don't think that worked. I don't think I got anybody. Damn it. I should have done the big one. Damn it. What are you burning, Ordain? What are you burning? What are you doing? I should have done it straight to the chatting one. I should have been, boo. Boo, chat. Boo. Baron, go womp womp. Womp womp. Should have come in at an angel again. Wait, should have come in at an angel angle. You're saying angle. At an angel. I mean, I've fist fought angels. Angels can chuck my fucking ass. Womp. Hi, Voidhead. How are you doing? Does cheesy horror movie fake scream? Ah! Just hit him with that. Damn, perfect. Look at you guys go. All right, let's put that away. What the fuck? What the fuck? Silence, Hailstorm. It is time for the Hard Rock Cafe. You are modern rock, not classic rock.
This version of the restaurant is still open today.
Okay.
One of the few that has been at City Walk since its opening. And the second Hard Rock Cafe has now been open for way, way longer than the first version ever was.
I still can't remember it all, but I ate. I was even trying from these commercials. I'm trying to figure out if I ate anything.
Would eventually be removed to make way for the Hard Rock Hotel, which opened adjacent to the former closed cafe at the end of 2000.
Why wouldn't they leave the cafe open and put the hotel next to it?
On the right-hand side of the lobby, you're essentially in the parking lot for the original restaurant. For 13 years after closing, the original Hard Rock Cafe sat there, unused, other than sometimes for storage, just outside the park. Eventually, the old iconic shaped building would be demolished in September 2011. It sat abandoned for longer than it ever operated. Very little remains.
Does it really matter what I burn? Maybe sometimes it does.
Is often still used today.
Hi, babe, and tired, guh. Well, at least hang on rest 3. Thank you, Void.
If you ever ride the Mardi Gras
all or nothing is the lifestyle.
Or head back that way to a haunted house, the road you enter on was the original road which went under the restaurant. If you look closely to the side of it, you can see the curved section of the Record Plaza that once sat outside the restaurant, right behind Trolls Roller Coaster. There is a mystery
roller coaster
legend about the Hard Rock Cafe Orlando that
is that
dates
actually
back
a ride?
To its original location. You may know that behind the current Hard Rock sits a piece of the Berlin Wall. This piece was previously displayed at this original Hard Rock Cafe, and the legend goes that the wall previously had graffiti on it, like much of the Berlin Wall, and a worker accidentally power washed it off when cleaning it. This is more of an urban legend than a real fact. In reality, even when it was moved to the second Hard Rock location,
there's still graffiti on it
from when it originally debuted, and it was likely from sitting outside in the Florida sun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can still see graffiti on it.
Look washed off sometimes. Many people wonder what a piece of the Berlin Wall has to do with Hard Rock. The original Hard Rock Cafe opened in June 1990. And the wall came.
What does the Berlin Wall have to do with anything to do with the Hard Rock Cafe? I'd hate to tell you guys. Does anybody remember some of the purposes of classic rock music as a whole? Anybody know? Anybody know? We talked about I've also wanted to go to one of the Hard Rock cafes. Blue or red and yellow fire. I like the blue one better. Can you burn this pork I'm cooking? Why do you want to burn the pork? Burnt pork is awful. Pork has to be cooked perfect. Pumpkin Rebellion? Correct. The Berlin Wall is a reminder of what not to be, what not to stand for, what not to allow. I think it's proper. Made of Hard Rock? Well, okay, you're correct. But that wasn't the answer I was looking for. BRB gonna go cook my pork chops wrong? That's fine. Pork chops are kind of garbage anyway. It's not like it's pork belly. Something delicious and fatty and can be made braised to the point where it's so tender it falls apart on top of it. Oh my God. I need it.
Came down in Berlin in November 1989.
Listen, pork belly is fucking fantastic. A lot of other cuts of pig are kind of mediocre.
The Hard Rock Cafe motto, love all, serve all. An item that symbolizes the fall of oppression. However, its reason goes deeper than that. The graffiti, which was originally on this piece of wall when Hard Rock got it, was the same logo that is used on Roger Waters of Pink Floyd's The Wall Live in Berlin album. The album is a live recording of a show.
I'd never seen Baron speak something truer than that.
To commemorate the fall of the Berlin Wall 8 months
You're supposed to have pork chops today, but I didn't leave the meat out to thaw, so I'm cooking pizza. Let's go.
A month
what kind
after
of pizza?
The original Hard Rock Cafe
what kind of pizza?
Orlando had opened. The graffiti that was on this piece of wall was added after the wall fell, or at least the logo part of it was. And after that, it was donated to Hard Rock Cafe's memorabilia collection. And eventually, by 1994,
Wait, who donated it?
In Orlando, where it has remained, albeit moved, ever since.
But yeah, I fucking nailed it. I could have told you that. Here comes the themed part infinity. Here comes the themed restaurants. Oh no. Oh no.
The Hard Rock Cafe and its brand that started all those years ago in London still continues to be a success today.
Oh my god, the picture of Mick Jagger.
Universal City Walk still remains one of the most popular.
And then a Works pizza? Hell yeah.
Peter Morton would eventually sell his half of the restaurant in 1996, and the Hard Rock brand was whole again. It was later sold to the Seminole tribe of Florida, and is one of the few early themed restaurant chains that did not go bankrupt and continues to be a success.
4 years ago,
I didn't know the Seminole tribe owned the rights to the Hard Rock Cafe.
We got together to create a unique tribute to movies.
Before the Hard Rock Cafe brand was back together as one in 1996. In 1992, Peter
I didn't know the Seminole tribe in Florida owned it.
Hard Rock name, filed a lawsuit in federal court. He claimed that another themed restaurant was copying his idea with a chain of highly publicized entertainment-themed restaurants that were similar but of lower quality.
Okay, that's fucking
stupid. From the moment the two founders
they're copying us, but they're doing it worse.
Brand, it continued to get messier and messier. And with this lawsuit, Hard Rock International would also sue Peter Morton, claiming his new Vegas casino would tarnish the Hard Rock name. Peter Morton's
Oh, he was the one who had owned Planet Hollywood. Okay.
Lawsuit was aimed at Robert Earl for something new that he had created.
Oh, Bruce Willis without his shirt on. Who would have thunk?
A place that at the time was called the bastard child of Hard Rock Cafe. And Morton had contended
I don't know. I kind of want that giant plate of spaghetti. I don't think I could get a giant plate of spaghetti at Hard Rock.
To rip off the concept.
Maybe Planet Hollywood was better,
counter was that everyone was creating a theme chain restaurant. The other original founder of Hard Rock Cafe,
does he look like a younger Jack Nicholson to anybody?
And even Spielberg, who helped fund the original US cafe, was about to open Dive. The difference was that none of them were the current CEO of Hard Rock, but themed restaurants were about to explode throughout the United States.
All right, time for the Rainforest Cafe, baby.
Restaurants.
Oh, this is new. Oh, is he gonna be doing more restaurant stuff later? We're gonna just do the Hard Rock, not Hard Rock Cafe. This is the Hard Rock Cafe. I'm fucking stupid. Hi, McDonald's. Wait, wasn't McDonald's already a themed restaurant before this?
Thank you so much for watching this first episode of Expedition Restaurants.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Make sure you subscribe to join the
giant plate of spaghetti, Baron. Also, I'm streaking. You're streaking. Put some pants on.
And a special thank you to our patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel.
Time to eat pre-workout meal.
Next time.
Pre-workout meal. I go to the. I don't eat before I go to the gym. I eat after I go to the gym. Cause I'm stupid like that. What does streaking mean? Streaking, the act of streaking as like a verb, or well, technically as a noun, is to run around naked. I mean, I know a song. Hold on a second. Let me go get the. Streak by Ray Stevens. Don't worry, the song is saved for work. It's fine. If anybody doesn't know Ray Stevens, he's a comedy or quote novelty singer. And so all of his songs are kind of like goofy little bits here and there.
Oh, listen, this man will take care of you. You know what to say. Hello, everyone. This is your Action News reporter.
Your Action News reporter.
Across the nation, on the scene at the supermarket.
At the supermarket. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit for y'all because it's a little quiet.
See what happened.
And yes, that's him. Both of those characters are him.
Standing over by the tomatoes, and here he come, running through the pole beans, through the fruits and veggies, naked as a jaybird. Ethel's over
professional type reenactment.
And pickles. I hollered over. I said, "Don't look, Ethel!" She dropped a whole jar of kumquats and fell back into the sweet midget cider.
The Sweet Midgets. Can you tell this came out in the 90s? We're not going to play the whole song. Yeah, there he goes.
Oh, yes, they call him the street.
Anyway, that's all, chat. That's all I'm going to give you. If you want to know more about Ray Stevens, I recommend going to check out his songs. He has some really good songs. His other one, the Mississippi Squirrel Revival, is one that I actually used in high school for a presentation. Because my dad made me obsessed with this, like with Ray Stevens as a musician. And I wanted to introduce it to my class as like a speech thing for the speech class we had. And it was very goofy. It was very, very goofy. Anyway, we need to figure out something else to do. Let me see really quick. I'll give you all the actual fucking music back. I nap like an old person because I'm old. Who the fuck naps these days? Hold on, I gotta go yell at Faye. All right, let me see if we have... I don't think I'm going to play their longer stuff. I don't know if I have anything that's like immediately relevant. Let me see. What do we have lying around? We could all take a nap. I can't nap. I'm terrible at napping. Like, for whatever reason, I struggle to take a nap. Oh God, somebody fried a steak in butter. We are not watching that. David Tennant performs 500 Miles by the Proclaimers at the BAFTA Awards. Why did I miss that? How did I miss that? The destructions of Disney World's water parks? Nah. The Smalls Life. Hold on. I'm finding a lot of these really cool like tragedy situations, and I'm going to save them because we'll probably do them next Tuesday. I played D&D's most controversial expansion, Kinks and Cantrips. What? The bathtub? No, BAFTA. BAFTA. It's an acronym. I don't remember what it stands for. Songs of Rats. Okay. I don't think... I saw Zachary Levi's awful autism movie, so you don't have to. Just don't have autism, dude. Bathtub Awards, let's go. No! Marin's Turning Tuesdays did a non-chill yapping. That's true. It's mainly because my current hyperfixation when I'm maxing and relaxing is currently traumatic situations. Or travesties, tragedies. Horrible shenanigans, if you will. No, not bathtub. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Why do you do this to me? But yeah, I think we're good, chat. I think we will. I'm also gonna save this Blair Witch one because I think it's interesting. Anyway, I think we'll call it here. 3.5 hours isn't half bad. So let's go figure out who we want to raid. Neopo is having her 5-year anniversary. That model is kind of terrifying, but let me see. Who else is doing stuff? Imuki asked me if you showered today. Tommy is doing something, just chatting. Touring the USS Hornet? What? What? Ah. Wait, CarrierCon 2025? Wait, what is she doing? What is going on here? Is somebody live streaming this to Radia? I think one of them is. Maybe it's Digi? I don't know for sure. This actually seems kind of interesting. I am very curious. She actually has like a code and stuff in the corner. The thing though is I also don't have anybody immediately that's like, it looks like they got early access to Monster Hunter. So I can't like throw y'all at somebody who's already playing. Never mind, I'm stupid. Red's playing Monster Hunter.
By him.
Oh no, he's playing Monster Hunter World. He doesn't have access yet either. I'm guessing the people that have access have like special access. That's all I can guess. I'm guessing they have some kind of like special access, which kind of blows. It does kind of blow. But chat, I'd kind of rather throw you at somebody that like would be supporting them towards getting partner. Im looks like they're just chatting. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna throw y'all at M. Imuki _ All right. We're gonna do the wah emote for this raid message. Our raid message is just gonna be still no wilds. It's just gonna be still no wilds. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. If I don't play any Monster Hunter tonight, we'll be starting Monster Hunter from scratch tomorrow at noon CST. Otherwise, we will be playing it regardless. I cannot guarantee that we will be at the beginning or the start of everything, but we will be playing it regardless. Marin's still tame. Can't believe. Listen, I am on my best behavior, okay? I am doing my best. But until next time, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for enjoying the show. There's been so many new folks coming in today. I really do appreciate it. But until next time, guys, have a good day. Play something awesome. Eat something delicious. And don't forget to drink your fucking water, you animals. Soda is not a substitute for water. Good night.